Fuel you once, fuel you forever.
620 CKRM and Tri-Hall Self-Unloading Bale Movers present the CCA Pilot Butte Rodeo, June 13th to 15th. Fridays free, accepting donations for MS. Rodeo slack at 6, then Caitlin Crusaders Bronc match. Saturday, heavy horse pull at 9:30, parade at 10. Saturday and Sunday, chariots at 11, rodeo at 12:30, then chuck wagons. And Saturday, Bud Light Cabaret with Third Degree Burns and from Mexico, the Gecko Band.
This is Victor from the Gecko Band. It's party time, guys.
Tickets at the Tab, Cross Country Foods in Balgoni, Pilot Butte Domo, and Ice House Liquor Store in White City.
Broadcasting from Century Studios in downtown Regina, Harvard Media presents The Sportscage, where Saskatchewan comes to talk local sports. Brought to you by Regina Motor Products, proudly serving Saskatchewan for over 70 years. Visit rnpchevrolet.com today. Be part of the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262. The Sportscage. Streaming at sportscage.com, our YouTube channel, and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
Last year, Stanley Cup final ended with tears in the dressing room from Connor McDavid after losing a heartbreaker in Game 7 to the Florida Panthers by 1 goal. Those same two teams back again. But are the results going to be different this time? And if you're listening to all the experts, although the defending Stanley Cup champion are the Florida Panthers, everybody's saying Oilers. 5 games, 6 games, 7 games. It's the Oilers almost in a lock. The Panthers don't even have a chance. The talking is over, and it's almost finally time to get back on the ice. Game 1 of the Stanley Cup final is about 3 hours away. Now, the big question is, will Lord Stanley's Cup be headed back to South Beach, or does it return to the City of Champions? They haven't been able to call themselves that in a long time. This would do that again, much to the chagrin of a lot of other NHL fans around the league, especially the Canadian ones. Hey, welcome to the Wednesday edition of the Sports Cage. It's Maz in for Barney, along with the Double C's, Curtis and Colson. We're on the radio for the next 3 hours talking sports. If you're going old school at 620 CKRM on your AM dial, love it. Love it. Little technology bump if you're listening on the app, Apple or Android, 620 CKRM, download it. We appreciate that too. Make sure you sign up for the notifications. With the Rider game tomorrow, anything that happens, boom, an instant hit to your phone. We're also streaming on our social channels. We appreciate everybody that follows us on X at Sportscage, and that is liked and subscribed to our YouTube channel. It's at Sportscage on YouTube. The show is brought to you by Regina Motor Products. The RMP summer offer is now on until August 31st. You can receive a $25 SOE gift card with the purchase of a vehicle, health check, and oil change package. You can visit RMP today. We talk about it all the time. Sports is awesome because you can have an opinion. Everybody has one, right? You could be right, you could be wrong, but that's all up to interpretation. Jump in on the show anytime. Prairieland Rentals text line 306-936-6262. On the show today, Charleston Hughes. We've been trying to get him on for the past couple of weeks. I got a confirmation text yesterday at around 5:35. We should have Charleston Hughes in about 20 minutes' time. TSN released their top 50 list yesterday, and I've got questions. And I bet you whoever made up this list or the group of people that made up this list don't have Charleston Hughes knowledge or experience. What does Charleston think of the top 50? Brady Oliveira is number 1, by the way. And some guy named Roland Milligan is number 2. But then from there, it's questionable. Riders kick off the regular season tomorrow against Ottawa. His thoughts, predictions, where do the Riders finish? Who does he see in the Grey Cup? Who does he see winning the Grey Cup? Look forward to chatting with Charleston. As always, he's one of our favorite guests. Just after 4 o'clock, Eric Francis will go inside the NHL. And then after 5, a guest that's making his debut on the Sports Cage. On social media, he's known as Matty Vowels. You got to have a good social handle, right? Matt Conisvita, who is part of the Ottawa Red Blacks radio game day crew for TSN 1200 on Ottawa, will join us. This Red Blacks team, they got Bobby Dice as a coach. year number 2 of Drew Brown. They got the prize free agent in the CFL. Not a superstar, though, according to Ed Hervey, and Geno Lewis. Is this the year the Red Blacks put it all together? We're going to find out from Matty and see what he has to say. And voice of the Riders, Dave Thomas, is going to drop by. He's doing dad stuff today, so we may get him on the phone later. Busy doing family things. And football. Family today, football tomorrow. Today's Twitter poll, Colson, Stanley Cup Final rematch. Who wins? It's simple. Panthers, Oilers, or I don't care, I'm just glad it's not the Leafs. What is Sportscage Twitter up to so far today? Which way are they leaning?
They are leaning quite heavily for the Oilers. We're at 58% right now.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, and then a healthy 16% saying anyone but the Leafs. So
nice.
Yeah.
It's always good if you can fire a few shots. Leafs fans catching strays all over the place. I mean, you deserve it. You spend a lot of money. You don't get a lot of results. And the people are like, now that everything has kind of calmed down, do you think Mitch Marner will reconsider and maybe come back? I'm like, you guys, so moved on. Mitch is done. Could you imagine when he ends up in Vegas? I don't know how Vegas is going to fit it in cap space wise, but he'd be a nice addition to the Golden Knights. He wants to play there. It's a no tax state. Why not?
I was going to say, I don't know when this became when he arrives in Vegas, but yeah, I almost would say it's not on his radar returning to Toronto. Like, he's just blocking any call message coming from that area code at this point.
That ship has sailed. Now, for the past couple of days, I mean, we've been so starved for hockey. There's a lot of people that have probably been reintroduced to their family over these past 5-6 days going, oh, that's my wife. These are my kids. This is great. Hey, how's everybody been lately? I mean, for the past, 7-8 weeks, it's been nonstop. And so these past few days with no hockey, I tried to watch the Jays game yesterday, but they were down 6-0 after the first inning. I'm like, well, this is over. There's no way they're making a comeback against the Phillies. It'll be nice to have hockey back on because there's been a lot of talking going on, and press day, everybody trying to say the right things. And then there's Paul Maurice, who, to me, Colson, would you not say he is the most quotable coach in the NHL? He's one of the best interviews out there, is he not?
Absolutely. I can agree with one of the best interviews out there.
Okay, do we have ready to go his... I don't know if he's trying to pander to people like from Saskatchewan, but I think he would be great at Craven / Country Thunder if he was just sitting around the campsite, cooler beside him, lawn chair, fire going, just telling stories. Do we have the clip where he's talking about shotgunning a beer? This is great.
Have you ever shotgunned a beer?
Not yet.
Have you ever been to church?
Not church.
But something spiritual?
Yeah.
Would you shotgun a beer in church? Okay, that doesn't make you a hypocrite.
Right.
There's a context and a place for all things. I will tell you they're honest. These men are honest. So that personality, it's all real. I hated Matthew Tkachuk. It's a little too strong when I was in Winnipeg, right? And then you meet him and you go, oh my God, what a wonderful human being. Remember I've said these guys are different? Like, Barkov's personality is our room, right? And then there's Sam Bennett. Sam and his wife are, raising money for cats and dogs. They're really, really nice people. And then the puck drops, right? Sometimes you say a prayer, sometimes you shotgun a beer. It's kind of like our team.
Nice. Shotgunning beers and going to church. If there's nobody else that could tie those two things together, but Paul Maurice just did. And then he's talking about the personality of the Florida Panthers, because you got Marshall, you got everybody. It seems like everybody on that team has got a big personality, but they buy into the team concept. If we have that run ready to go, Colson.
But that room that we have is so welcoming. And so your personality fits almost no matter what it is. As long as you do the handful of things we all do together, there's not a problem. The more unusual your personality, the more you're going to fit in our room. As long as you do those 4 or 5 things, then everybody gets to be themselves. So both Seth and he's a quieter man than Brad, but we all are. Now I was just going to relative to the rest of us, but he's been fantastic in that because he can just be himself, and we absorb that.
I don't know why not a lot of people are giving the Florida Panthers a puncher's chance to win their second Stanley Cup. It's their third trip in a row, and they won last year. They've been down this path before, but it seems like everything is just all tilted Oilers and McDavid. But I think maybe there is only going to be 22 guys and some coaches and a few fans in Sunrise, Florida. Oh, there's a lot more people cheering for Florida than may ever come out of the woodwork. But I don't necessarily know that it's just automatic that, well, the Oilers were there last year, they won. Yeah, they're playing great hockey, but so is Florida. So I don't know. I think the hockey we're going to see over the next 5, 6, 7 games will be so much better than what we saw in the conference finals. On both sides, it wasn't great. Like last year, do you remember that? It was a treat. Florida up 3-0. Oilers rally back. Game 7, 2-1. 20 seconds left. They kill the puck. Panthers win. That was some great hockey. I think that's what a lot of us are hoping for. Face-off tonight will go right around 6:15. So you got tonight, Game 1 in Edmonton. Game 2 is Friday. And then Game 3 isn't until Monday in Florida. And then Game 4 is on Thursday. So they're spacing this out. Then Saturday, then potentially Tuesday in Florida. And then if there is a Game 7, Oilers do have home ice advantage. It'll be Friday, June 20th in Edmonton. Colby Armstrong made a great point yesterday. Start this season sooner. Let's get this hockey wrapped. Maybe around Memorial Day down in the States. What do you got? Twitter poll. Oilers, Panthers. You can vote now. Let's take our first break. Charleston Hughes, perennial CFL legend. Where would he have fallen on the TSN top 50 when he was in his prime? I don't think they were doing the list. I think I know where I would put him. I actually want to ask him that question. So we'll do that next. Thank you if you're checking out The Cage on our social channels, watching the stream, and if you're listening, we appreciate that too. We're on the home of local sports in Saskatchewan, 620 CKRM.
620 CKRM is your home to country's greatest hits and the 90s at 9. 1 full hour featuring the biggest hits of the 90s. Garth, Reba, Alan, Shania, George, and so much more. No cassette tape or CDs required, and 90s mullets are optional. 90s at 9 for the town of Wolseley and the voice of Saskatchewan. 620 CKRM.
You'll find a full array of used farmland equipment with Ritchie Brothers during their 2025 summer agricultural sales. With 39 farm auctions happening between June 9th and August 7th, there's something for everyone. These exciting and unique events are hosted entirely online, but their equipment inventory will always be available for inspection during an in-person visit. Make sure to register. You don't want to miss out on a wide variety of assets that include trucks, tractors, sprayers, combines, trailers, and so much more. Visit rbauction.com.
So, how big is yours?
5 inches.
That's about average. How'd you like 6 inches?
6 inches.
6 inches? That would be a big improvement.
A 6-inch package from Prairie 6-inch eaves trough is made specifically for your farm building. 6-inch eaves troughs are more durable and efficient during storms. They're family owned and operated, so you'll get an honest installation at a fair price. Prairie 6-inch eaves trough, your farm shop specialist. Call 570-6415.
Are you tossing and turning at night, unable to sleep because of mounting debt? Debt can feel overwhelming, but you don't have to face it alone. I'm Jasmine Brown, a licensed insolvency trustee at BDO here in Regina. I'm here to guide you every step of the way so you can find peace of mind and finally rest easy. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to book your free consultation and discover your debt-free future.
We owls are wise birds. We give two hoots about carbon in the atmosphere. The cleaner the air, the easier for all of us. So it's wise of you to recycle automotive waste properly. Take used oil filters. They can be turned into reusable steel products, meaning less carbon in the air. Make automotive waste reuseful. Visit usedoilrecyclingsk.com. Mother Nature, our climate, and this wise old bird, thank you.
You turn on the tap and expect nice, soft water. But who can you trust to be sure it'll be there? Reliance Heath Water Heater Rentals. That's who. Call them today to ask about an exceptional limited-time offer on water softener rentals. Remember, they offer North Star water softeners, providing peace of mind from someone you trust. Reliance Heath Water Heater Rentals. Call 522-5866.
If you have a garage door that's running a little rough, you should really have Busy Bee Doors, the garage door specialists, come out and repair it. Or it may need to be replaced altogether. Yeah, just call Busy Bee Doors, the local experts who have been in the business for many, many years, because they can fix or replace any commercial or garage door.
Honey, calling Busy Bee.
Good idea. Busy Bee Doors, the garage door specialists.
Looking for a low-mileage vehicle that hasn't been driven to the moon and back? At Capital GMC, they have over 200 GM-certified pre-owned SUVs, cars, and trucks. Check out this special purchase on the 2024 Buick Encore GX Sport Touring all-wheel drive with leather interior, sunroof, and heated seats, starting at only $31,900, plus tax with a manufacturer-backed warranty and 24-hour roadside assistance. Plus, rates as low as 4.99%. Capital GMC is the GM-certified pre-owned vehicle destination at the corner of Rochdale and Pasqua in Regina.
Time's almost up. Buy your tickets for the Sask Elks Trucks and Bucks Lottery before June 9th for a chance to win amazing prizes, including a $75,000 vehicle voucher. Lottery license number LR240147.
Saskatchewan, it's time to talk sports. Sportscage is on the air. Be part of the show. Call 936-6262 or toll free 1-866-767-0620. And we're always online at sportscage.com. 620 CKRM.
The Saskatchewan Roughrider Foundation 50-50 is back for another season. There's early bird prizes to win before every game. Today's your final chance to get in to win the Oasis experience. Check this out. A trip for two with flights to Toronto, airport transfers, 2 nights at a downtown Toronto hotel near Rogers Centre, and you'll get 2 tickets to see the Oasis Live 25 tour. Liam and Noel Gallagher have put their personal differences aside. Brothers, eh? I got a brother. His name's Wayne. There's probably years we didn't say a lot to each other. I don't think we ever fought like the Gallaghers, but they finally, somebody talked some sense into him and said, listen, if you two can just cut it out, there's a chance to make a whole bunch of money, and you go on this 41-date tour. It's going to hit Rogers Centre in Toronto in late August, and you can be there. Ticket deadline is 5 o'clock today. If you don't want to go see Oasis, you can take $5,400 cash. You can buy your tickets online at riders5050.ca. It's Maz in for Barney. Thanks for being part of the Sports Cage today. We appreciate it. Let's go out on the Western Pizza guest hotline. The TSN Top 50 was announced yesterday for the CFL, and I'm not sure that they had this around when Charleston Hughes was in his prime, but if he was, I think we'd all know where we would put him on our list. We've already said he's our favorite guest on the show. He's number one. I don't even know if there's a 2, 3, 4, or 5. Charleston Hughes, how are you doing? Welcome back. How are you?
I'm all right, man. They did have the top 50 when I was around.
Okay, well, do you remember where you slotted? What was your highest ranking?
Ever was probably 6 or 7.
Okay.
Maybe
now,
even.
Did you?
I would even push that to like 8 to about 12, somewhere in there. That was the highest I was ever ranked on there.
Now, as a player, maybe it feels good. Did you buy into that? Like, did you I thought I should have been higher. It was just nice to be mentioned. Like, as a player, how do you take this when these lists come out?
I never buy into those. Those lists don't mean nothing. I mean, when you really look at it, I mean, it's good for like accolades, and it's good to, pad your pockets when it's time to when it's time to get those pockets padded. And and negotiation. But when it comes to just ranking players, I mean, it's all subject to opinion, basically. So I never really looked too deep into it. I looked at it, went, okay, well, I'm up there, but I'm not that high up there. So I just continue to do what I do best, and that's outplay what my ranking was.
Brady Oliveira comes in at number 1 on the TSN Top 50. Now, let's say you were able to maybe take Brady down in the backfield. Would you mention that the number 12 guy on the list just took down the number 1 guy on the list, and what was he going to do about it for the rest of the game? Is that something that may come up in conversation?
Hey, man. I don't know if I would even mention that in the conversation, but because he's number 1 overall, he's going to be headhunted all this year, all this season. So he can look for some challenging games the entire year, for a team like, Winnipeg, especially because it seemed like they struggled a little bit when they're throwing the ball and stuff like that. So in the past game, so they rely on him heavily in the run game to kind of, establish the front.
All right. We call him Roland Milligan. You told us that his nickname with you was Roland Mulligan. He comes in at number 2. I think well-deserved. In your mind, is he still the top defensive guy in the CFL?
100%, man. I mean, he's the top defensive guy in the league. And I wouldn't even remotely just say defensive guy.
Okay.
It could have been a 1-2 punch between him or Oliveira when it comes to the number 1 guy in the league, because Oliveira probably doesn't play special teams. Mulligan does play special teams. He plays on every aspect of the game. He run down, makes special team tackles. He covers on defense. He's doing, everything they ask of him from all levels of the game. And that's a hard thing to do and still be an elite player like he is.
I always wonder about that with Milligan, to be like, at some point, can you go to coach to be like, all right, can you just take me off one of them or a couple of the teams and just let me play defense? Because I worry about that. Him getting hurt on like a punt return that ends up all of a sudden gets called back in a penalty. No, if you got that dog in you, the dog never goes away.
Yeah, man. If you got that dog in you, that dog never goes away, man. When I was at the very, very height of my career, I was on all special teams. I was averaging about 110 snaps a game. And, I was playing every single snap on defense. I was playing kickoff. I was playing punt. I was playing every single special team, kickoff return, everything you can think of. When you got an elite player that can do it all, I mean, you want to put that kind of weight on your back. You want to put, a positive impact in every single game that you play, to know that if I do come out of the game, now I'm sacrificing, the team, basically. So I want to put myself out there to make sure I'm impacting the game for us to win every single game. And I know that's the mindset that he's probably taking right now is, if I come out, I feel like we're going to lose. So I'm going to stay in every single play.
110 snaps in a game. Be honest. You got to be exhausted some games by the fourth quarter, right?
It is, man. It is. But the thing is you got to get the machine mindset, basically.
Okay.
I operate like a machine, and nothing can stop me when my mind is in that mode and I'm in that zone where I'm just go, 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 go. And I'm not really thinking about being tired. When you're a player like that, an elite player, and, your focus is on getting tired and taking breaks, your mindset's in the wrong place. You should be focused on winning and doing whatever it takes to win.
All right. So my question, not during a normal offensive or defensive play, when you're on specials, and let's say it's early in the game, maybe it's kickoff, maybe it's punt, and you beat a guy, or you've got a guy, and he knows too. Do you have him all game? Like, does that guy just not want to see you anymore? Like, if you get him early, is he like done for in your mind? Is that how, when you were playing, that you're like, I got this guy, don't worry about me?
Heck yeah, man. The elite players, that's how they play. They take advantage and they exploit, the weakest link. And you just go after that person. If you got somebody card and you got somebody you can punch their ticket every time you want, then you go after that one person. And if you're an elite player, you're going after the best player on their team. And I'm saying you're not going to do it. You're going to do whatever I want you to do, basically. And you're going to attack the best player on their team every single play.
In your experience, by time the fourth quarter would roll around, would you see guys' effort level drop, or maybe give up is the wrong word, but what they were doing in the first is not what they're doing in the fourth because they'd had enough?
Yeah, man, that's when the game gets exciting because I got you right where I want you. And that's why I said the mindset of when you're operating and you're performing and you're in a zone and you're on the field and you're at maximum effort every single play. When you're going against somebody and you see somebody teeter off and start to get weaker and weaker as the game goes on, that's when you really have to pick your game up, and you got to make sure you're executing, at an extremely high level or higher than that person. It doesn't have to be 100% like you first came into the game, but if he's at a 60 and I'm at an 80, that still counts.
All right. Charleston Hughes is with us on the Western Pizza guest hotline here on the Sports Cage. We're going through the TSN Top 50. Brady Oliveira was at 1, Roland Milligan's at 2. Your guy, he's in a renaissance of youth. Bo Levi Mitchell coming in at number 3. And you're always smiling, but you got an extra big smile right now for Bo Vi. I mean, he had a hell of a year last year. Are you happy to see Bo at 3?
I'm happy to see Bo at 3, but you know what? That's why I said Bo earned he gonna earn everything he gets, 100% all the time. I've played with young Bo. He's played with me before. He's seen what it's like to operate at a high level and play with efficiency and play through the ups and downs. And he's been on a roller coaster his whole career for the most part when it comes to highs and lows and people giving up on him and people going, all right, guess we got to go back to you. And he's still active. That's a good trait by him, is just being, unbothered by.
Oh, are we losing Charleston's connection? We may have to reconnect. Charleston Hughes is joining us on the Western Pizza guest hotline here. We're chatting TSN Top 50. It came out yesterday. Brady Oliveira was the number 1 pick across the CFL as the top player, but he thinks Roland Milligan should be number 1 because he plays all special teams. There we go. We got Charleston back. Bo Levi Mitchell. Did you see any of the preseason action or any of the highlights of him and Kenny Lawler getting acquainted? I'm looking at that going, if that's just the preseason, I don't even want to know you by week 2 when the Riders go to Hamilton.
Man, when Bo, and like I said, man, when Bo put that much trust into a receiver, man, and he got somebody he can actually throw the ball to, you don't have to worry. He's going to throw it to you. It's up to you to catch it from there. He's going to put it right where you want it. He's going to throw it up. He's going to take chances. He's going to, when you got a big play receiver like that, so he's going to go up, climb the ladder, and go get the ball. He's definitely going to get you the ball. It's just about on you to catch the ball. I don't know if Kenny Lawler ever had a quarterback like that. Obviously, he did with Caleros, but now he got somebody that's an actual gunslinger just like Caleros and could be even more of a gunslinger who's going to stretch the field. So it's a good thing for Kenny Lawler. I think they're going to revive each other this whole entire year.
Yeah, it's nice to see. I like the Bo Levi Mitchell story because, like you had said, everybody wrote him off. And it's like, well, hold on. Bo looks like Bo's got a little football left. Okay, so this is the biggest question. I'm like, I want Charleston to explain why, if he agrees. Tyrese Beverette of the Montreal Alouettes is the number 4 player on the TSN Top 50. He was number 22 last year. First of all, if you agree or disagree, and why the big jump?
Man, to be honest, I have no clue who that guy is, and I've never watched him.
Me neither.
Not as much as I should have.
I don't mean, well, I felt guilty. I'm like, did I miss something here? Because Wynton McManus is number 5. I'm sorry, but Wynton McManus, you notice him and his toothpick wherever he goes in every game he plays. Wynton McManus is making plays where they stop and talk about him.
But that's one of those things, again, like you can't pay that much attention to that. Do I think they got the top 3 right? Heck yeah. Do I think they got the top 4 right? Yes. They debatable, basically. Um, I just don't know. That was a curveball, basically, them throwing him in there like that. I don't know what kind of impact he had. I don't even know nothing about his stats. You know the stat line for this guy?
Linebacker from Montreal. Like, he's a good player, but he's Winton McManus to me. Just he's one of those guys. He wrecks game plans. He's a difference maker. He can well, look at him in the Grey Cup. He just decided to blow things up, and look how the game changed.
He definitely should have been in that top 5. He was that defensive player all year long who made an incredible impact in Toronto, and you can see the impact that he had on that team. You know, defensively, he made plays when they needed him. He was all over the field. He's another one of those guys who plays special teams and people don't even know it, and he'll run down and make every single tackle on special teams, on kickoff, on punt, you know, and block at the same time. You know, he's one of those guys that's going to go out there and he's going to sacrifice, put his body on the line, and as long as they win the game, he'll be satisfied.
Okay, so Winton McManus at 5, Justin McInnes at 6, Nathan Rourke at 7. Vernon Adams Jr. was number 3 last year. He's number 8 this year. Tyrell Ford is at 9, and Zach Collaros comes in at number 10. He was number 1 last year. And once again, these TSN ratings, it's one thing. I'm not writing off Zach Collaros. Zach's still a good football player. I don't care where you put him on this list. Another one that stands out. Are you telling me, because we know you have a relationship, when I read this, I'm like, you're telling me that Jameer Thurman is the 43rd best player in the CFL out of 9 teams, that he is that far down the list? Jameer Thurman was incredible last year for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Speaking about guys with the dog in them, like, I'm sorry, that one that's the biggest one to me. You got really wrong. He's top 15 in my book for sure.
He's definitely top 15. He's one of those guys who just get, you know, undervalued, and I don't even know if there's anything he can even do about it. It don't matter what he does throughout a year or throughout a season, he'll always just be undervalued for just the type of player he is, the type of guy he is, and as sad as it is to say, he's an amazing player. Probably one of the top 5 linebackers in the league for sure. If you go down the list and go on every team and you look at linebackers, he should be up in there in that top 5 to 10 linebackers in the league for sure. He's far down,
especially with number 43. I'm like, you guys got that really wrong. So with the regular season starting tomorrow, and we'll get into the teams in a sec, and you're in contact with a lot of people, as we've learned over the 3 weeks of training camp. What are guys, if you want to share, what are guys texting you? Like, hey, this is great. Things are looking good this year. No, oh man, we're in trouble. Like, what's that? What does your phone look like from the guys that you stay in contact with throughout training camp? Because, I mean, you've been through that battle before too, right? It's a grind.
I had some interesting conversations with a lot of players, you know, throughout training camp. You know,
I knew you would. That's why I'm asking the question.
And the thing is that, you know, some of them ask me about, you know, older players that I used to play with, and, you know, what's the MO on this guy? Is he good? Is he a decent player? You know, those kind of talks. I had a couple rookies even call me this year and ask me, do I have any advice to them on how to make the team? You know, what to do. Some guys from Ottawa that I know, some guys in Edmonton, some rookies that I know. You know, I still mentor, like, you know, whenever I get the opportunity to, with a couple younger players that come into the league. So really talking to some of the rookies, they were really, really adamant about, what do you got to look for? How do you slow the game down? Like, where should my focus be? How can I speed up my play? Because I feel like I'm slow and I'm behind on everything. So it's just about redirecting guys, showing them that the speed of the game, what to focus on, how to visualize back sets, formations, what to ignore, what to pay attention to, especially for linebackers. Really showing what can you do to benefit a team. When you're coming to a team, you want to make the biggest impact you can as a rookie on special teams. You want to go out there and light it up on special teams. Get the special teams coach on your side. That's somebody that's going to be able to speak, you know, volume for you. And then after that, you just got to show that you know the playbook and that you can play on defense just in case, you know, they need depth. You do those 2 things, you make the team.
since we went 0-2, a lot of people in Rider Nation saying, preseason doesn't matter. The concerning thing, as someone as part of Rider Nation, we didn't score our first touchdown until 119 minutes and 30 seconds in to our 2 preseason games. Say what you want, but you know this, Charleston. Football's a game you can't just turn on and off. You kind of have to develop a little bit of rhythm and get going, and offense takes a little time, and sometimes, you know this, at the start of the season, defense can be ahead of the offense. Can you automatically just go, it doesn't count because it's preseason, or is there value in those reps in those games?
There's definitely value in the reps in the games because it's a good time for coaches to experiment through playbook, see what plays work, see what plays can we execute. You know, it's good for coaches to kind of get in the rhythm of my play calling, put the basics out there to see, what can we manipulate and change about the basic in our playbook. So it is a good time for that. And it's a good time to see, the learning curve for the guys on the team. The players still have to go out there and execute at a high level. It doesn't mean that it's, just because it's preseason, I don't have to play that hard. Jobs are on the line. So you still have to go out and perform at a very, very high level. So I know the playbook, so I can block, so I can catch, so I can run, so I can beat and win my one-on-ones. When it really comes to that aspect from like a coach's standpoint, let's try out a new coach. Let's let our defensive back coach call the game. Let's let our offensive line coach call the game. Those are the little nuances that, people don't even realize that we didn't score, but who was the play caller? It probably wasn't the offensive coordinator who was calling the game. Maybe it was the offensive line coach or the running back coach, or it was somebody else who had 20 plays to call in the game. So all that stuff kind of weighs in on a preseason game that, people don't really realize, and it ain't always about the X's and O's.
That's something I think, I know for myself, and maybe everybody listening doesn't even think of that it's preseason for coaches as well. All right. Time to start putting you on the spot. We're going to go through the divisions, and we're going to go, let's start in the West. We'll go 5 through 1. Who do you think is number 5 in the West Division this year? And I'm taking notes because you know these guys and you watch a lot of football and you know the inner workings and stuff like that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Who ends up in 5th? Who's in 5th in the West?
5th in the West. I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to say this, and it's gonna hurt my feelings to say it, but I'm gonna have to say Calgary.
Really? After all of those changes, and there's still going to be a dud?
Yeah, man. I don't see them. Yeah. I just don't see. I don't see a big enough impact. Although they may change, and they stirred it up like no other when it comes to the coaching staff and the players on that team, and they just mixed it all up. But to me, in my eyes, if I'm the general manager, that is an all-in bet. If I got $500 in chips right here, and this is my last that I got for the night, I'm pushing all 500 on black and then saying, let's roll it out and go. It's a crapshoot when it comes to doing something like that, man. And I just don't see them recovering this year, on an all-in bet like that, and just a gamble on just bringing a whole new staff in and a whole new bunch of players. I mean, it's a desperation move, and you got to do what you got to do to win. And I hope it does. I hope I'm wrong. But I just don't see them recover.
The number 4 slot in the West, who does that go to?
Number 4 slot, we put the BC Lions.
Nathan Rourke doesn't find the 2022 magic. He keeps struggling, or they're just not that good?
I think he's still going to struggle, man. He didn't look too good when he came back from the NFL. Like, it was a big change for him, going down to the NFL. And I think he played amazing. I think he's one heck of an athlete. And I think he's one heck of a quarterback when it comes down to it. But I just don't see him coming back and having the same pop, the same impact that he had on the team when he first came to the league. Because the learning changed for a little bit. So unless he do a lot of work this offseason to get back in that mind frame of CFL football, then I don't really see much happening there either.
Okay, number 3 in the West. This is a playoff spot.
This is a playoff spot. I'm going to go with the Edmonton Elks. Make sure y'all write this down.
I know. We're taking notes. Trust me. I'm sure there'll be a Sportscage article about this, and then Twitter will be all social media. Who they already want you on the TSN. They're going to make posts about this. Okay, so Edmonton is it
all over me after this one?
I know. So is it because of Trey Ford and Mark Killam? Is it Mark Killam? Why does Edmonton end up at number 3?
Maybe because I know the type of coach Mark Killam is, and I know what he's going to demand from his team, and I know he's a competitor at heart. He likes to push guys. He likes to get the best out of his guys. I've seen him develop players, and I just don't see the amount of respect that he has amongst players. I think guys are going to go there and they're going to run through brick walls for him. And that's a dangerous, dangerous thing right there when you got a team of 45 players, whatever, 46-man roster going into a game, and they're all headhunting type guys who are ready to go to battle and ready to attack every single game.
I loved Niles Morgan on a bad Elks team. I can't imagine when he's on a good Elks team what he's going to look like. That guy just does damage. All right, we're getting up against the clock here. Number 2 in the West in the CFL this year, according to Charleston Hughes, CFL legend.
You know, I just dwindled it down to 2 teams right now, right?
I know. Like, you gotta...
This is probably the hardest battle of the West every single season, and it's like, who's going to win? It's always a crapshoot. Winnipeg always end up pulling hairs, off of a win. I'm going to say Winnipeg is going to be number 2. Saskatchewan's number 1. And the reason why is because it's redemption. I think Saskatchewan got in a big, big problem when they didn't have depth at the quarterback position. Now they have depth at the quarterback position just in case injuries happen. And that kind of put them over the top to reestablish that team.
So does that mean that does Saskatchewan end up in the West Final? Who do they play and do they win? So in the West Final, who are the Riders ending up playing if you've got them at number 1?
I would say if the West Final, it'd probably be Hamilton, man, coming out on the other side of that.
Okay, so we're going to play Hamilton. So are the Riders winning the West Final, and are you picking a Riders Hamilton Grey Cup?
I would think Riders Hamilton Grey Cup for sure.
And are they beating Winnipeg in the West Final?
100%.
Okay, so Riders
100%.
versus
It's gonna
Hamilton.
be a close game. It's gonna be by I would give 4.5 on a point like that.
Okay. I had said that if the Riders can avenge some demons and go 3-0 against the Bombers this year, which means they win twice in Winnipeg in the regular season, we're good. But if we can't get over that hump and we go 1-2, how are you going to win there in November when it's cold and loud? You're not.
Hey,
Winnipeg
man,
advantage.
It don't count till playoffs. When playoffs get here, you got to win during playoffs.
I know.
You got to make the playoffs,
They've been to the West,
and then you got to win in playoffs.
I know you got to win in playoffs. Charleston, as always, we got to do this again with a little more regularity now that football's coming up. Ottawa is here tomorrow night. It's Charleston Hughes. I can only imagine after week 1 what your phone is going to look like when players start really blowing things up because the games now mean something. And as a player, we'll wrap on this real quick. As a player, do you get your first paycheck immediately after the first game or within a day after? Because you're finally getting paid because training camp's over, right? How does that work?
Oh, yeah, right after the game. Next day.
Right after the game. Next day.
Next day air.
Nice. And to the bank, and then, boys, we're going to Earl's.
Charleston's boys, we're going to Earl's. We're going straight to Earl's. I need that warm potato salad.
Nice. All right. As always, Charleston Hughes on the Western Pizza guest hotline. He's our favorite guest. He's the most connected guy in the CFL. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we got a sports ticker to get through. It was an emotional night last night for the Regina Red Sox. More on that in just a bit. This is the home of football in Saskatchewan and the Saskatchewan Roughriders, 620 CKRM.
The Riders are back, and so is the Riders Foundation 50-50. Buy your 50-50 tickets early at riders5050.ca, and you'll be in for amazing early bird prizes. This week, we have concert ticket packages to see Morgan Wallen in Edmonton and Oasis in Toronto. Not to mention, you'll be in for the biggest 50-50 jackpots in pro football. All proceeds support amateur football in Saskatchewan, equipping the heartland. Buy now at riders5050.ca, and go Riders! Riders 50-50 is presented by ISC.
You'll find a full array of used farmland equipment with Ritchie Brothers during their 2025 summer agricultural sales. With 39 farm auctions happening between June 9th and August 7th, there's something for everyone. These exciting and unique events are hosted entirely online, but their equipment inventory will always be available for inspection during an in-person visit. Make sure to register. You don't want to miss out on a wide variety of assets that include trucks, tractors, sprayers, combines, trailers, and so much more. Visit rbauction.com.
Come enjoy an unforgettable evening of food, entertainment from the Garage Band, and fundraising in support of YMCA programs in Regina and Moose Jaw. Music for the Mind, June 19th at 5:30 p.m. at the Connexus Arts Center. The YMCA is a charity that ignites potential. You can help break down barriers so everyone can access its programs. Tables are selling fast. Get your tickets today at regina.ymca.ca. Music for the Mind is an event you don't want to miss.
The Big Orange event is on now at Redvers Ag and Supply, your local Kubota dealer. Come on in to take advantage of big savings on Kubota equipment. Save $4,500 on select equipment when you pay cash. Or use the Big Orange coupons to save $1,000 on compact tractors, $500 on utility vehicles, and $400 on mowers. Come join us on June 10th at the junction of Highway 8 and 13 in Redvers for our Customer Appreciation event and take advantage of the great deals. Get the power and performance you need at a great price.
Employee pricing has arrived at Crestview Chrysler with the 100 Years in Canada event. That means $99 per week on a new 2025 Jeep Compass. Financing as low as 0% for 72 months on select Ram 1500s. Save up to $26,000 on the new Dodge Durango Hellcat. Or get into a new 2024 Dodge Hornet for as low as $38,995. Take your pick, boss. It's employee pricing. Only for a limited time at Crestview Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram.
Dad, I've got a problem.
Let me guess. The solution's in my wallet?
Very funny, Dad. We need better internet.
Look, son, when I was younger...
When you were younger, the dinosaurs still roamed the earth. Can we get wireless internet, or is that too hip for you?
I'll have you know, Junior, that I've already been to Glasser's TV, your SaskTel authorized dealer. Wireless internet is on the way.
You might be more hip than I thought, Dad.
Contact Glasser's TV, your SaskTel authorized dealer in Moosomin today.
If your garage door is running a little rough, you don't need to be talked into something that you don't need.
Sir, what you need is the new gigantic-esque, voluminous, astronomical, ginormous, gargantuan, exquisite air garage.
Just call Busy Bee Doors, the local experts who have been in business for many, many doors. They can fix or replace any commercial or garage door.
Wait. With me, you get a little garage door keychain, please.
Busy Bee Doors, the garage door specialists.
Keep your equipment out of the rain and mud this spring by storing it in a new building from Olympic Buildings. A new building on your property can serve as a shop for equipment or hay storage, a riding arena, and so much more. Olympic Buildings in Regina can store it all. Visit olympic-buildings.ca.
Text CKRM 306-936-6262. Powered by Prairie Land Rentals. From skid steers to tents to power tools, anything you need to rent for that spring or summer job is at Prairie Land Rentals. Deal with the owner. 600 Albert Street. It's time for the Sports Ticker. Brought to you by Reliance Heath Water Heater Rentals. For all your hot water needs, call on Reliance Heath today.
So Rough Riders kick off the 2025 season tomorrow night. The Ottawa Red Blacks are in town. It's going to be a 7 o'clock kickoff at Mosaic. Last check, there's just over 4,000 tickets left. Should be a good crowd tomorrow night. Tonight at Curry Field, the Regina Red Sox taking on the Medicine Hat Mavericks. First pitch is going to go at 7:05. last night. You want to talk about a gut check and how they were able to do it. The Red Sox went out and played in honor of Jesse Lubinicki, who passed away traveling back home to Regina. This season, they're going to be playing with number 33 in their hearts. Man, feel for Jesse and his family. Jays Phillies tonight, first pitch at 5:07. And it's game one of the Stanley Cup final. Panthers and Oilers face off tonight. Rogers Place in Edmonton will go right around 6:15.
Been there, done that. We get it. And we've got something great for you. The Great Bin Giveaway on 620 CKRM. We're giving you the chance to win a 100-ton fertilizer bin from Core Grain. All you have to do is be listening to find out which sponsor locations you can enter at, all across southern Saskatchewan. You'll also have some chances to qualify during Saskag Today with Ryan Young. The grand prize draw will take place at Egg in Motion this July. Don't miss out on your chance to have a shot at the Great Bin Giveaway.
Brought to you by Ag Direct Hail Insurance, Zipperlock Building Company, McDougall Auctioneers, Redvers Agricultural Supply, and 620 CKRM.
What happened?
Oh, one of the kids left building blocks scattered all over the floor again.
Stepped on one, did ya?
Okay, some things that click together aren't so fun, but Down to Earth Fencing in Regina is super easy. They'll install your fence for you. You can do it yourself or with assisted DIY. They'll insert the posts and you finish it off by putting all the pieces together, all with Canadian-made PVC materials.
Ow, my foot!
Visit downtoearthfencing.com for a quote today. Down to Earth Fencing, the most logical choice.
You'll find a full array of used farmland equipment with Ritchie Brothers during their 2025 summer agricultural sales. With 39 farm auctions happening between June 9th and August 7th, there's something for everyone. These exciting and unique events are hosted entirely online, but their equipment inventory will always be available for inspection during an in-person visit. Make sure to register. You don't want to miss out on a wide variety of assets that include trucks, tractors, sprayers, combines, trailers, and so much more. Visit rbauction.com.
Hear that? What a tackle. That big crunch wasn't from the tackle, Chris. That's the KFC $4.95 End Zone Big Crunch and $7.95 End Zone Big Crunch combos only on game days.
The End Zone Special available on Rough Rider game days at participating KFC Sask locations.
If you've got a Steelcraft garage door, you've got a door with parts manufactured and assembled right here in Canada. A door with better insulation and seal, plus a warranty you're probably never going to use. And if you don't have a Steelcraft garage door, you should get one. Don't just hang a door, install a Steelcraft. Turn curb appeal into curb envy.
Steelcraft door, Steelcraft door, Steelcraft door. We offer more.
Steel-craft.ca.
A rolling stone gathers no moss? What a weird saying! Does it gather moss if it's not rolling? So many questions, but what I don't question is where I get my tires. When your vehicle needs the right tires, see your local Cooper tire dealer. Your local Cooper tire dealer carries Cooper Pro Control tires. They're designed to wear evenly for crisp handling and engineered to take on water while maintaining grip. Ask your local Cooper tire dealer about Cooper Pro Control tires today. They'll keep you rolling.
Hit the water in style this summer with Moros Marine and more. Casting a line or cruising the lake, Moros Marine has you covered. Moros Marine has Canadian-made Princecraft boats and pontoons with payments as low as $125 bi-weekly. So not only can you ride in style, but you can do it affordably. Plus, no need to stress about pickup. They could deliver your new Princecraft boat or pontoon right to your front door. Call or text 306-731-EASY and get on the water today. Moros Marine and more. Your adventure starts here. morosmarine.com.
Have you been out to the new Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram dealer? That's Southie Mainline Chrysler, the newest king of trucks, just 30 minutes north of Regina. They're the small town feel with bigger than city discounts where customers show up and leave feeling like family. With the selection of the entire Mainline Automotive Group, it will be tough for them not to find you your perfect vehicle at the best price in Saskatchewan. Southie Mainline, just 30 minutes from Regina. It's worth the drive every time. Guaranteed.
Calling all skilled heavy-duty mechanics. Core Industrial Services has an exciting opportunity for you. They're hiring a full-time heavy-duty mechanic to join them at their 9,000-square-foot shop in Rocanville, Saskatchewan. As a heavy-duty mechanic, you're responsible for performing maintenance and repairs on a wide range of equipment, from heavy machinery to light trucks and more. At Core Industrial Services, they believe in the power of teamwork. Apply today on their website at coreindustrial.ca or call them at 306-745-4844. Core Industrial Services, where expertise meets opportunity. lottery. Apply now.
Time's almost up. Buy your tickets for the Sask Elks Trucks and Bucks Lottery before June 9th for a chance to win amazing prizes, including a $75,000 vehicle voucher. Lottery license number LR240147.
This is 620 CKRM Regina, a Harvard media station. Available everywhere on the CKRM app, Radio Player Canada, and at 620CKRM.com.
It's 4 o'clock. Good afternoon. I'm Corey Atkinson from the SaskToday.ca newsroom with your 620 CKRM news. A Saskatchewan official says hot and dry weather continue to hamper the battle against raging wildfires in the province. Steve Roberts with the Saskatchewan Public Safety Agency says there have been scattered showers, but it hasn't been enough to help.
It's a number of factors that's making this extremely difficult. And again, we're having to adapt our plan, modify our approach, daily, fire by fire, and a heck of a lot of coordination to make sure that we can continue to do our job, keep people safe, even if it means moving them out of the way.
Roberts says there are up to 15,000 people in Saskatchewan who have been forced to flee. As wildfires continue to burn in Saskatchewan, thousands of people have had to leave their homes. The Canadian Red Cross is helping evacuees with shelter, supplies, and key information. The federal government will match all donations to the Red Cross for the next month, starting from May 30th. Saskatchewan is also giving $15 million to help. Leaders say they will continue to support those in need and thank everyone helping on the ground. If you would like to help out with the relief effort for the wildfires, all of us at Harvard Media are asking you to please make a donation to the Canadian Red Cross. You can find the link at 620ckrm.com. Regina Public Schools has proposed changes to its elementary band program for the 2025-26 school year, raising concerns from teachers, parents, and arts groups. A division memo linked the changes to new rules in the 2023-2026 Provincial Collective Bargaining Agreement, but education leaders say this is incorrect. The Saskatchewan Teachers Federation says new PCBA rules actually bring more money to school divisions, including funds for new teaching jobs and class support. The Federation encourages school boards to speak up for better funding to protect important programs like music and band for students. For the second time, the Bank of Canada is holding its interest rate steady at 2.75%. But what does it mean for someone with an investment, such as a GIC? Ventum Financial's Adam Picallo says some people are choosing not to lock in their money at a rate of 3% or less,
which a lot of financial institutions are offering now. So that's where there's other alternatives that I'm looking at for clients that still offer that low to medium risk, but can target that 5% return that many are looking for.
The central bank cited uncertainty with tariffs and their impact on the Canadian economy as a reason to maintain the current interest rate. And Wascana Pool opens for the season tomorrow. The lap pool will open at 7 a.m., while the other features, like the leisure pool, water slides, and hot tub, will open on Friday. The slight delay is due to water restrictions. The city also reminds residents that spray pads are open daily from 9 to 8. Visit regina.ca/outdoor pools for pool times and schedule changes. That is your 620 CKRM News. Read more stories from around your community and around the province at sasktoday.ca and 620ckrm.com. Your weather is next.
Back in 1985, the Breakfast Club all sat on the floor.
Don't you ever talk about my floors. You don't know any of my floors. You don't look at any of my floors. Just bury your head in the floor and wait for your prom.
I hate this floor.
Yeah? Good.
Luckily, today, Flooring Superstore has everything you want. Their stock is immediately available with professional installation for residential or commercial spaces. Flooring Superstore. Quality floor covering at the best price. Flooring Superstore Regina.ca.
What else is there to talk about? Palliser Direct Online Hail Insurance. It's that easy. Save up to 13% on your crop hail rates this year when you purchase online through Palliser Direct. Insurance has never been easier. Visit palliserinsurance.com anytime, anywhere.
620 CKRM weather is brought to you by Line-X Regina. Serious protection, killer looks at 1865 McCarra Street. Tonight, partly cloudy. We'll have a low of 7. Tomorrow, sunshine in the morning, a chance of an afternoon shower or a thunderstorm, and a high of 23. For Friday, sunny and a high of 26. Saturday, cloudy, showers and 19. And for Sunday, sunny and a high of 21. Right now, a mix of sun and cloud and 20 degrees in downtown Regina.
The Riders are back, and so is the Riders Foundation 50-50. Buy your 50-50 tickets early at riders5050.ca, and you'll be in for amazing early bird prizes. This week we have concert ticket packages to see Morgan Wallen in Edmonton and Oasis in Toronto. Not to mention, you'll be in for the biggest 50-50 jackpots in pro football. All proceeds support amateur football in Saskatchewan, equipping the heartland. Buy now at riders5050.ca and go Riders! Riders 50-50 is presented by ISC.
When you want the best for your truck, you want Line-X. Your truck has withstood the harshest elements Saskatchewan has thrown at it. Rocks, gravel, rain, sleet, and snow, and left with no chips, no rust. Line-X protective coating keeps your truck's bed liners, rocker panels, and bumpers looking like brand new. Don't settle for Brand X. Go with Line-X. It's serious protection. Come see why everybody loves taking their truck to Line-X Regina for their rocker panels, bumpers, and more. Line-X. Make your truck complete. 1865 McCarra Street.
Broadcasting from Century Studios in downtown Regina, Harvard Media presents The Sports Cage, where Saskatchewan comes to talk local sports. Brought to you by Regina Motor Products, proudly serving Saskatchewan for over 70 years. Visit rnpchevrolet.com today. Be part of the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262. The Sports Cage. Streaming at sportscage.com, our YouTube channel, and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
Hour number 2 of the Sports Cage. It's Maz in for Barney today. What did you think of that Charleston Hughes interview? He was dropping bombs all over the place. We've been saying for months that he's the most connected guy in the CFL. Not only because he was such a good player, but he still has relationships with a bunch of guys that still play, like Roland Mulligan, as he calls them, the Saskatchewan Roughriders, number 2 on the TSN Top 50, who, first off, he thinks should be number 1 on TSN's Top 50 because he plays everything but offense. Who knows? Maybe Mace has got a few plays in for tomorrow against the Red Blacks when they come to town, where Roland Mulligan will actually become the all-around best player in the CFL. So that was number 1. Number 2, his phone was blowing up in training camp. Rookies and vets wondering how to manage this. How do we make it through? What's going on? Did you know in preseason, he said sometimes they let, maybe it's the offensive line coach that's just calling the plays for the game and it's not the offensive coordinator. Or like a defensive back coach is calling all the defensive plays because it's training camp for coaches. Not even on the radar to think about that. And then the biggie, we asked him how the top 5 in the CFL is going to shake down in the West. If you're a Stampeder fan and you're listening to this show, and you go back to listen to the podcast, there's about 60 seconds you may want to fast forward through because the way Charleston lays it out, it's not going to be a good 2025 if you're Dave Dickinson in the Stamps. But other than that, he's got the Riders taking on Hamilton in the Grey Cup. Apple, Spotify, or you can get the podcast at sportscage.com. It'll be posted shortly. All right, time to go out on the Western Pizza guest hotline. It's game 1 of the Stanley Cup final, and we didn't check in. He was there last week for the Western Conference final. We're not sure where he is today. Eric Francis joins us, as he always does, to talk NHL hockey. Eric, are you in the home office, or are you... just wait. Yeah, let's go inside the NHL with Eric Francis.
Now for Inside the NHL with Eric Francis on the Sports Cage. Inside the NHL is brought to you by Southie Mainline Chrysler, the newest king of trucks. Worth the drive every time, guaranteed.
It's the home office. We thought maybe you were at Rogers Arena in Edmonton wearing a fancy shirt avoiding hooligans in the moss pit. But you're at home. You're safe.
No, I covered that last series. I'm home for the final. I'm excited to be watching from home. And it's very interesting. You know, my daughter works at she's just home for the summer for first year university, and she got a job at a restaurant downtown. And they told them all to wear Oilers gear, which that's a tough one for a lot of people in Calgary. She said all day, everybody asked, Were you forced to wear this? Like, it's almost like a hostage situation. Clearly, you're not wearing this on your own volition. This is done because of some external force. Are you okay? Wink once if you need help.
But Eric, now keep in mind, she has a job to probably make a little bit of money, right? If she is forced against her will to wear this, maybe there's going to be a little bit of mercy tipping involved, that she's going to get a little extra because people know that not her decision, not her choice.
Absolutely. Sometimes in life you have to make sacrifices to make a few bucks, and that's an example of it right there. Look, apparently one guy complained, like literally went to the manager and said, "This is outrageous that people in Calgary are wearing Oilers jerseys." But most people were pretty good, lighthearted about it, and some understood that she didn't really want to wear it. Some thought it was great that she wore it and didn't ask any questions. Either way, let's just watch some hockey tonight. I can't wait to see how this shakes down because, I'm sure we're going to get into it. But the one thing I'll tell you is there is no chance I would wager a single dime on this series. That's how close I think it is.
When we started the show, I had mentioned the fact that everybody is picking the Edmonton Oilers. Although Florida are the defending Stanley Cup champions, this is their third trip in 3 years. Everybody's picking the Oilers. They say it'll be close series, but Florida really doesn't have a chance. I'm sure they're okay with being the underdogs, right? I'm sure Paul Maurice has a speech for that pregame ready to go. Is that odd that no one is giving Florida a shot?
And look, I do think it's an overwhelming. There's an overwhelming sentiment out there for sure that this is Connor McDavid's time. Like, good luck trying to beat him twice in a row in the Stanley Cup final. The greatest player, arguably. Let me rephrase that because we got into a big debate about the nuances of that sentence. The best player of all time. That's what I will categorize it. I'm not putting him in greatest yet. You got to win cups to be in the great categories. But in terms of pure player, could skate circles around Gretzky. Granted, Gretzky played in a time when training camp involved stopping smoking for a couple weeks. So, like, it's a different game, different era, but he's amazing. So, yeah, everyone just seems to feel around the National Hockey League it's McDavid's time. Look, they have a tremendous amount of momentum. The only thing going against them is that Hyman injury, and that, if they end up losing this series, I honestly think that'll be the difference. I think he's that important to this team, and he was playing such incredibly inspired hockey with all the hits and everything. So that's a blow. But other than that, they've got all sorts of momentum and feel-goods, and Connor Brown looks like he'll be back in for tonight's game, and that's big for them. And I get it. If Skinner continues to play the way he has, and we should give him credit for playing that way, then they do have a fighting chance. But to me, it'll all come down to goaltending, which of course tells me the Florida Panthers do have a chance because Bobrovsky's a whole lot better than Stuart Skinner 99 out of 100 days a year, I'll tell you that.
I can't imagine that Paul Maurice would be okay, even 10 minutes into the game, if nobody is getting any sort of body on McDavid or Draisaitl. And that's hard to do, but they're not going to give him the free pass that Dallas and Vegas did. Like, there's that famous clip, hit them now, because in games 5, 6, and 7, it all adds up and they're going to have nothing left.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily know that maybe Edmonton, like I said, it's hard to hit Connor McDavid. You're not going to get him, but they're going to try. And I think that's maybe going to be a big thing because he played 2 rounds of rec hockey there where there was no body contact.
Yeah. Don't make that mistake again. And the Panthers have a relentless forecheck, and they're a very physical hockey team. That, to me, is the difference with the Oilers right now. The Oilers were the far more physical team against Dallas, and I just think they've added that to their, their repertoire as they learned from last year's road right to Game 7 of the final. They understand that the physical part of the game is so important. Look, Zach Hyman embodied that belief that you had to step it up to another level. So the Oilers will be physical, I think, on everyone. Kachuk on on all the players, but expect Florida to be just as physical, if not more physical. Look, there's going to be a ton of shoving after every whistle, and and a whole lot of jawing and all that. I think there'll be some bad vibes from day one. And I'm looking forward to that part because it was certainly missing when Edmonton played Dallas. And like you said, in some of the other series, these guys got off a bit scot-free for sure.
Alexander Barkov, who there's no knock on him, but the only thing that would get mentioned about him is he doesn't get mentioned enough because he plays in Florida, but he's a Selke Award winner. Like, he is just so good. Eric, you've seen him play live. Is he one of the best defensive players in the past decade that's played in the NHL?
Yeah, I mean, Bergeron had that award forever, and I do believe Barkov will have it now for the next little run. Look, that's the hardest trophy to vote for us because, so many of my fellow scribes, some of us watch a ton of hockey, some don't. And a lot don't pay attention to the defensive side of the game ever. So it goes on reputation, it goes on plus minus, it goes on penalty minutes. Like, it's kind of ridiculous, but hey, he's earned that reputation. And really, when you hear players talk around the league, that's where we get most of our cues in terms of voting for the Selke. Guys who talk about players on other teams and how good they are defensively and how tough they are to play against. And you hear that from everybody who plays against the Florida Panthers. Look, they're a handful to play for as a group. They're a handful to play against as a group. But Barkov in particular, he's going to be, so key in this series. But listen, it's so interesting to me. Like, there's talk that it looks like Anton Lundell and Lusterainen are going to be guys that are counted on heavily to shut down McDavid. Look, everyone's going to have to try to shut down McDavid, but I'm interested to see if they go back to the old school, like put a player on him, like the old school Gretzky days. It never worked, but you don't only hope to limit them. What I keep hearing from both coaches is in the modern game, and you see it a lot, it's the defensive pairings that are really matching up against the McDavid. It's too hard to go ship for ship matching forward against a forward. You got to count on a certain defensive pair or two to focus on McDavid and Draisaitl throughout the series.
Well, in Aaron Ekblad, and he's buddies with McDavid, it's funny, I went down a rabbit hole on Twitter where there's just a bunch of pictures and tweets of them over the years when they were just young bucks getting paid probably good money in the OHL to play and all of that. So you're going to see a lot of Aaron Ekblad, a lot of Seth Jones. There is that. You are going to have to factor in when the Metallica hits tonight, when the Oilers start taking the ice, the place is going to be nuts. As always, the first 10 minutes, I think if Florida can survive that, Bob stays strong because that's what happened in the Toronto series. A couple of bad early goals, and then the Panthers are playing catch-up and all of that. I hope, and I'm pretty sure this is going to happen, we're going to see way better hockey than we saw in the conference finals. That it's going to be back to round one, round two, because I think it's safe to say the conference final hockey was not necessarily awesome. It's great if your team won, but it wasn't as good as it could be. I was watching highlights from last year, and I'm like, man, that was some good hockey. And I think that's what a lot of us are just craving, to be like, we can get 5, 6, 7 games of this.
Oh, yeah. I'm not sure how many people other than maybe Gary Bettman are complaining about the matchup. Like, in terms of pure hockey, everyone believes these are the two best teams through the playoffs, and perhaps in one way, like a lot of people think now, they were destined to meet in the final again last year. There's that great clip that we had on Sportscage the other night of Matthew Tkachuk shaking Connor McDavid's hand at the end of the Game 7 last year and saying to McDavid, "I'll see you back here next year." Wow, was that powerful and turned out to be quite prophetic. So ratings-wise, it's going to be a stinker in the U.S., but the NHL gets its best player and maybe their best two players in Draisaitl on center stage again in the final. So maybe the league's not too upset about it because you got your marquee star playing in the marquee matchup. I don't know, but I know that in Canada it's going to be very well watched, and not because people in Canada are cheering for a Canadian team to win. I don't believe that that's the way it works very often. And I just think people that are good, strong, solid, knowledgeable hockey fans understand that this has all the ingredients that a Stanley Cup final could possibly want. Superstars, the best goaltender in the NHL is Bobrovsky in my mind. Hellebuck was for sure for 82 games, but in playoffs, Bobrovsky's probably been the best the last 5, 6, 7 years. So I just, I don't think there's missing anything from this matchup again other than Zach Hyman, but that doesn't move the needle ratings wise for sure.
When we were doing a deep dive on the Oilers a few weeks ago, the only problem we had is they don't have any Saskatchewan-born players on their roster. But head coach Chris Knobloch is from Imperial, Saskatchewan. If he's not already the most famous, most accomplished person from Imperial, if he wins a Stanley Cup, I don't know who's ever going to challenge that. Who else is coming from Imperial that is going to top winning the Stanley Cup in Saskatchewan? So there is that, and then the Cup would be back in the province in the summer. And then, of course, you got Glenn Gulletson from Hudson Bay. So there is that Sasky connection. We do like that. One person who we really haven't talked about all that much, and in his pre-game or pre-press conference, he talked about being selfish, that it was such a good feeling last year winning the Cup. Matthew Tkachuk said, you want that again because what that does for your life and how that changes you. Because someone asked, are you really playing for anything this year? You already won one. And he said, no, now it's about being selfish and getting it again. Can't overlook MT.
Well, you're not going to be able to overlook him. He'll be right in the middle of absolutely everything this whole playoffs, just like he stole the stage at the Four Nations before he got hurt. He loves the spotlight, he loves the limelight, and he always rises to it. Now, Tkachuk's interesting to me because he hasn't been the Tkachuk that we saw last year. That injury that he sustained at Four Nations, we're going to find out at the end of the series just how significant it was. I mean, it was significant enough for him to miss, 2+ months after the tournament until the playoffs. I just haven't seen the dominance from Matthew Tkachuk that I'm used to seeing in Calgary all these years and in the playoffs last year. I still think he's significantly hampered by whatever it is he's dealing with. I don't know if it's a groin. I don't know if a abdominal tear, oblique. I have no idea. I'm not a doctor. I just know that somewhere in the core, I do believe he's just struggling. And but I still think he'll overcome all that and be a significant part of this. I mean, let's go ahead and try and play a little game, shall we? Let's rank the top 5 guys we'll be talking about as this series progresses. Okay? In no particular order.
Okay.
Bobrovsky.
I'm taking notes. Okay, Bobrovsky.
Yeah. Bobrovsky, Skinner.
Yep. Skinner.
Connor McDavid, Tkachuk.
It's a good thing you said his last name. I wouldn't have got that. But anyways, Matthew Tkachuk. Okay, good. Yeah.
And Sam Bennett. Sam Bennett's going to be right in the middle of everything. Listen, and again, this is why this series is so good. I could keep going on and say Draisaitl. I could say Reinhart. I could say Barkov. Marchand's going to be in the middle of a lot of things. But those are my 5 that I think we're going to be talking about almost, the most going into as this series goes on.
And then you didn't even factor in a couple of keys that aren't even going to be lacing them up in the series. Brady and Big Walt in the stands drinking beer. And how many beers will they drink? How many times they get? They are the Taylor Swift of the NHL when it comes to the playoffs because the cameras always go to them for reactions when plays happen. Brady crushing beers. It's always fun to watch the Tkachuks in the crowd because there's Walt. What's the mom's name? What's her name?
Chantal.
Okay, so you got Brady, you got Chantal, and then sometimes the sister or the daughter's there.
The sister,
right?
Yeah, she's there a lot. And both brothers, God bless them for being good older brother. Both of them claim she's the best athlete in the house. She's got a scholarship, field hockey, But anyway, she'll be there. So yeah, they'll get plenty of airtime. I'm interested if they come to Edmonton. I do think they will. I do think they should. But I wouldn't be surprised if they sat out games 1 and 2 and then joined the series in Florida from there. I don't know.
It should be fun. I was checking some of the resale tickets yesterday. near the roof was like 700, but it had jumped to about 1,100 by today. And then like lower bowl action is going for like 2,900, for a single somewhere here, there. And, I had to explain to my brother-in-law who lives in the States. He's like, why do they keep showing all those people outside? I'm like, those are the poor people that can't afford tickets. They just go to the parking lot and watch on a giant big screen and it's free. He's like, oh, because he wanted to know, well, how much does it cost to get in there? I'm like, nothing, man. You just show up and you do what you do.
Yeah, you show up and you get ready to fight. No, it's largely quite peaceful, I'm told.
I'm told. I wouldn't go near there.
I
like
would
any
not
normal
go
sane
near.
human being.
I
would not go near there.
No.
Yeah, everybody's saying all the right things, as they always will in the press in the lead up. There was no locker room material. I think it's just two teams that really respect each other, that are probably have been chomping at the bit. But I think with the days off, to give whoever maybe a little banged up, if a day or two even makes a difference at this time of year, I mean, you never know. But I think that probably right about now, we're less now than 2 hours from face-off. You got to know that the anxiety and the butterflies have got to be getting it, guys. Especially the ones that weren't part of either club last year. Because what Florida has about 5, is it for about 5 guys, and Edmonton has about 7 that weren't part of the clubs last year, where a lot of them, this is going to be their first chance to be in the cup. And the Oilers said, hey, we know how to play this year. We know how it's going to go. Is it really that different of unknown that you're just, because I'm like, well, it's still playoff hockey, but maybe it's not Stanley Cup playoff hockey.
For the newbies, this is what they've all dreamed of, and it's got to be big on them. But there's so much leadership in both those locker rooms of guys who've been in the league for a lot of years, but also been in the final now for at least this is their second year, and in Florida's case for 3 years in a row. I think the nerves can be calmed by those older guys. But I mean, what a moment for all the newbies. I think of the Seth Jones and these guys. Like, earlier in this year, he was just in a hapless situation that he wanted out of so badly, and he finally got his wish and ended up getting swapped out to a Stanley Cup finalist. Like, talk about winning the lottery. So I'll be watching those guys as well, because they're fun to watch in their first one.
All right. Are you going to like a Stanley Cup watch party? Are you just at home with the fam? And let's go back to the start. If your daughter was forced to wear Oilers gear at his job or at her job, did she own Oilers gear to begin with, or did she have to go buy it to even get a shift on the schedule?
No. So Dad has a ridiculous jersey collection, and at one point I said as a hockey fan, like, I need to own all of the Gretzky's jerseys: St. Louis, LA, Rangers, Oilers. So I swallowed hard and bought an Oilers jersey. Look, I still think it's a beautiful jersey, especially with 99 on it and Gretzky on the back. Like, it's like I give credit that they're gorgeous jerseys, but I don't really. It was hard to see my daughter wearing one. I'll say that.
Eric,
even she admitted it wasn't comfortable. Even she said, I don't know about this, Dad. I said, look, got to make a buck.
Oh, and then pay carbon tax on top of it. Look where we are in 2025, Eric. All right. Okay, you're back on Friday with Barney, and then you're off for the summer. As always, this has been awesome. We love you. And all right, don't be afraid to invite us over in case you're doing a giant cup party and you want to fly us in, because as we know, you hang with guys that have private jets. So it's Eric Francis inside the NHL. One more time for Southie Mainline Chrysler, the king of trucks, worth the drive every time, guaranteed. All right, time to take a break. When we come back, let's see, we still have Clutch Performer to get to on the show just after 5. Matty Vowles is going to join us, first-time guest on the Sports Cage. Matt Conzavita from TSN 1200 in Ottawa. He's going to come on and talk Red Blacks football. But next, I think we're going to try and dial up Dave Thomas, voice of the Saskatchewan Roughriders, who is on the road this afternoon, and we'll check in with him. Depth charts out. I said earlier in the week, Jacob Brammer and the back tweak, I had a feeling he wasn't going to play, and he's not. We'll dive into the Riders depth chart for the home opener tomorrow next on the home of local sports here in Saskatchewan, 620 CKRM.
620 CKRM is excited to count down to Country Thunder, Saskatchewan. July 10th to 13th at Craven. Pull on those cowboy boots and get ready to dance at the kickoff party on Thursday night with Hunter Brothers. Jason Aldean takes to the main stage Friday night, and Bailey Zimmerman on Saturday. The one and only Def Leppard will rock the stage to close it out on Sunday. Also featured throughout will be Nate Smith, Tyler Hubbard, Kip Moore, Sarah Evans, and many more. Get your tickets and camping before they're all gone and enjoy the biggest event of the summer. Visit countrythunder.com.
You know them as TM Auctions, but Terry McDougall and Tam Kostanek would like to introduce their new name, McBids. Now known as McBids, they will continue to proudly serve Saskatchewan. With over 50 years combined experience in the auction and appraisal industry, experience, trust, and transparency are words they live by, and they will continue to do so as they invite you to join them as they continue their journey as McBids. Give them a call at 306-262-6327 or visit mcbids.ca. McBids, same trusted team, bold new brand.
Proven by countless farmers, 900 Series fence sprayers set the standard for your crops, and it's available at Nick's Service in Emerald Park. Featuring 370 horsepower, 132-foot boom, 1,580-gallon tank, smart drive 4-wheel steering, and liquid logic recirculating boom, the 900 Series fence sprayers are backed by a 3-year, 2,000-hour Gold Star warranty. Leaders drive Fendt. To learn more about making your crops successful, visit Nick's Service today. nicksservice.com.
It'll be take me out to the ball game or take me down to the rink before you know it. And Extreme Hockey and Sport will have you ready for everything this season. You'll be all set for the ball diamond with team kits, bats, gloves, accessories, and training products in stock. And of course, they've got everything to get you geared up for spring hockey. Whatever your spring sport is, Extreme Hockey has you covered. 1425 McIntyre Street and the Pro Shop, conveniently located at the Cooperator Center.
She was looking for fun in the sun. He wanted 2 for 1. Called a sassy tour de force that will change the way you look. This summer's biggest eyewear blockbuster is the You Pick the Sale sale at Future Vision.
Ooh, how do I choose?
Will she get a great deal on prescription sunglasses? Will he find 2 fashion frames for 1 low price? You Pick the sale. Now playing at
Future Vision. Where'd you get those eyes?
A proud recipient of the Consumer's Choice Award 2024.
The Riders are back, and so is the Riders Foundation 50/50. Buy your 50/50 tickets early at riders5050.ca, and you'll be in for amazing early bird prizes. This week, we have concert ticket packages to see Morgan Wallen in Edmonton and Oasis in Toronto. Not to mention, you'll be in for the biggest 50/50 jackpots in pro football. All proceeds support amateur football in Saskatchewan, equipping the heartland. Buy now at riders5050.ca, and go Riders! Riders 50/50 is presented by ISC.
You'll find a full array of used farmland equipment with Ritchie Brothers during their 2025 summer agricultural sales. With 39 farm auctions happening between June 9th and August 7th, there's something for everyone. These exciting and unique events are hosted entirely online, but their equipment inventory will always be available for inspection during an in-person visit. Make sure to register. You don't want to miss out on a wide variety of assets that include trucks, tractors, sprayers, combines, trailers, and so much more. Visit rbauction.com.
Get it hot and get it fast, Western Pizza.
Some say the number 13 is bad luck, like walking under a ladder. Well, 13 is a very lucky number when you're talking Western Pizza, like their delicious 13-inch pepperoni from Western Pizza. That makes it, well, the luckiest number of all. Western Pizza, big on toppings, big on taste. Dine in or take out. Order today.
And get it hot and get it fast, Western Pizza.
So, since that little ding on my car last week,
I don't know where to take it.
I don't even know.
That's easy. Take it to Regina Motor Products.
Who said that?
I did. Down here. I'm Terry the Tire. Regina Motor Products Chevrolet Collision Center and SGI accredited auto body repair is a full-service collision and body shop that works on all makes and models. Just submit your claim to SGI and set an appointment to get your appraisal done. Easy.
I bet you're tired after saying all that.
South at Highway 1 and 6, Albert Street. RMPChevrolet.com.
The Sportscage Clutch Performer for Nick's Service in Emerald Park. Your local Massey Ferguson Challenger, Rogator, Gleaner, and Fendt dealer. Call 781-1077.
I'm going to go with Peyton Collins, rookie Saskatchewan Roughrider, left tackle, that'll be making his first ever pro start tomorrow in front of Rider Nation. Young man, the weight of the world is on your shoulders, whether you know it or not. A lot of us are depending on you to keep Trevor Harris upright, protecting that backside. Jacob Brammer is out for tomorrow. Rider depth chart. Peyton Collins is in. No pressure. Peyton, you're our preemptive clutch performer tomorrow. Colson, who you got?
I got Raphael Jackson. The boys call him Kenny, from the Regina Red Sox. In their game last night, 5 at-bats, 4 hits, 4 RBIs, was named the player of the game.
Nice. 4 for 5. A nice
Clutch
800
performer.
average. That's nice. Batting, which is 330 wins you a batting title, so you're 800. That's good, I guess.
Right. Yeah.
If you're into stats. Hey, if you're into stats and picking scores and things like that, SaskTel Pick the Score is back for another season with Saskatchewan Roughrider football. All you need to do is text us what you think the score is going to be for tomorrow night's game, Riders and Red Blacks at Mosaic Stadium. You're the closest to, maybe you're bang on, you get tickets and a chance to win a $200 SaskTel gift card. 306-936-6262, Prairieland Rentals text line. You can get us in. And speaking of the Riders, voice of the Riders, Saskatchewan Roughrider, voice of the Riders, Dave Thomas. I'm all over the place. Dave joins us on the. Are you a guest on the Western Pizza Guest Hotline, or are you just like one of the guys on the show calling in, but on the Western Pizza Guest Hotline? Like, I don't want to undersell you, and we want to mention, the client. So are you? You're a guest. You're a guest on the show this afternoon. Dave, how are you? How are you, and where are you?
I am well. I am just on the road right now, but I would prefer to be a consumer of Western Pizza. So let's go with that.
All right. Depth chart is out. I said this on Monday. I said Jacob Brammer's not playing. I just have a funny feeling. And I said, no, don't read anything of that. Peyton Collins, you've got your work cut out for you tomorrow. You're the new left tackle for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. You've watched him in training camp. You watched him in preseason. Who is he, and should we feel confident that Coach Mace is putting so much faith in him?
Well, he is a very big, athletic man, went to Eastern Kentucky University in the States. He had some looks after he was done there, and he came up to Riderville. Again, a big body, very athletic, and it's the second season in a row, right, that we're going to start a rookie left tackle on game number 1. This time it's a little more difficult when you're going to line up against Lorenzo Molden of the Ottawa Red Blacks, who knows what to do when it comes to rushing a quarterback. But that said, he's done all the right things. He's done the work. He's prepared, and I think he's earned the opportunity. So those are all good things, and we all talked last year about the work that the coaching staff did with the offensive line, and I think that's where we trust right now, and Peyton Collins is going to have an opportunity to show off that work.
So we've got Peyton Collins, left tackle, Trayvon Tate, left guard, Logan Ferlin at center, right guard's Fry, and Jermarcus Hardrick, who for a lot of us, because he got injured so early last season, really haven't had a chance to see him in Ryder Green in round 2 do his thing. He's an excitable guy. We've had him on the cage. We've had him in Century Studios. How excited do you think he's going to be to playing meaningful football tomorrow?
Off the charts. I think that he has been looking forward to this day for an awful long time. If you don't know the backstory, he underwent surgery last year on that leg injury, and it was really the first substantial injury of his entire career. So he talked about the rehab process, and again, it's a little bit graphic, but like there were points where his wife had to help him go to the washroom, right, and get into the tub. And he said that the rehab process was tough, and he talked about drawing a lot of inspiration from his kids. And he's a very proud family man, and I know that he was so excited to get back to Regina and the Saskatchewan Roughriders last season. And while he barely got his toes wet, he really made an impact very, very early and became a mentor to the entire offensive line. So I know that it's been a battle for him to get back, and the work that he has done to returning to the player that he was, I think is complete. And like I say, it's going to be really exciting for him and the fans to see him out on the field.
Keyshawn Johnson starts at wide receiver. That's not a surprise. But on the other side, you've got proper name Dante, but as we know from Luke's conversation with him in training camp, it's just Donnie Myers who is getting the starting spot. I like that. Everything we saw last year, and every time he was on the field, he just seemed to make plays. Is he one of those guys to you, Dave, that just kind of has the knack to be around the ball and have a little bit of luck when it comes to where he needs to be and how he needs to do it?
I would suggest he had no luck last year because he had the hand injury late in camp last year, which kind of limited his participation. He battled his way back. He found his way onto the roster because, let's face it, the things that a Joe was doing early, you couldn't take him out of the lineup. So when a Joe went down, then Dante Myers comes in and reasserts himself and kind of showed what he did in training camp. And it took a little bit of time to pick up where he left off, but he did so far so good, I would suggest. And you're right. He does the little things right. He gets to where he needs to be, and the guy's got speed.
Kean Schaefer-Baker, obviously a lock at slot back. But on the other side, Del Duncan Busby listed ahead of Mitch Picton on the depth chart. Doesn't mean that they're not both going to play. What skill set is Duncan Busby bringing that puts him ahead in your mind of Picton to be getting the start tomorrow?
You know what? He's shown in camp that he has a great grasp on the playbook. Again, he's been real crisp in his routes. He's made plays when he's had the opportunity, and I think he's kind of been groomed for this spot and this opportunity. And again, he too had to wait for an opportunity because he got banged up at the end of training camp with the hand injury last year. And then, of course, a Joe took off. So again, another guy that kind of got pushed down the depth chart thanks to the great play of a Joe. Not that we're complaining about it. And now he's got the opportunity to go ahead and, again, pick up where he left off, and he asserted himself, right? He can come up with some key catches at key times. So it's going to be fun to see what he can do.
Our punter tomorrow night is going to be Joe Couch, but we did sign James Evans, who, for if you don't know, was in camp with the Bombers, and they offered him a practice roster spot, and he said no. Ballsy move. I'm going to go bet on myself, and it pays off. Days later, he's now a Saskatchewan Roughrider. Whether we see him on the roster anytime soon, we don't know. Flipping to the defensive side of the ball, Malik Carney, defensive end, Micah Johnson, one of the D tackles, Mike Rose, D tackle, and then you've got Shane Ray on the other side. Now, he was a little nicked up, didn't play that last game. What is it about Shane Ray outside of familiarity with Mace or whatever, but why did he earn this spot coming out of camp?
Natural athletic ability and off-the-chart compete and desire to be physical. Those are just kind of the three attributes that really you could see set him apart, right? And that's what makes him tick. That's what he was able to provide south of the border when he was playing down there. And he's got total buy-in. It's all about team. It's all about, going ahead and making sure that the job gets done no matter how it gets done. And those are the things that set him apart. That's what the coaching staff is smiling at. And they know and they believe that if he brings it, which I don't have any doubt that he will, that he can be a disruptive force across the entire CFL.
You threw out a stat last week that somebody said, well, the Saskatchewan Roughriders don't get any pressure on the quarterback, and you proved otherwise and said, no, here are the receipts from Pro Football Focusing. The Saskatchewan Roughriders actually get more pressure on the quarterback than anybody else. They just weren't getting quarterback sacks. Do you think with what they've assembled on the D-line that they're going to be able to get pressures and sacks this year?
Well, you know what? When you get a quarterback sack, a lot of things have to fall into place, including completing the play, right? Because number one job for a pass rusher, yes, is to get a sack, but it's also to adjust the launch point of the quarterback. And you look at that defensive line interior with Mike Rose and Micah Johnson. Wow, is that formidable? And I say Mike Rose has got a bit of a chip on his shoulder. He didn't like the way things ended in Calgary. He's come in with something to prove, and he's done that and more, in my estimation, throughout training camp. Those two can be absolutely dominant in the way that Micah Johnson takes up double teams. That's going to allow for more players to have opportunities to make plays. So does a pass rush always equate to quarterback sacks? No, but it certainly goes a long way.
Strong side linebacker, CJ Rivas. Jameer Thurman in the middle. Game time decision. Is CJ Avery your will linebacker? What are you thinking? Is he close? Is it 50-50, 60-40? Like what do you think is going to be the determining factor there if we see him tomorrow night?
Again, right now the team is erring on the side of caution when it comes to long-term injury. So if it's best to hold a player out for game one of the regular season to make sure that they're available in week 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and again, I'm just drawing numbers out of my hat, then you do that. You don't. It's a marathon, not a sprint, the CFL season, right? So if he's not entirely good to go, this coaching staff, I'm convinced, is going to err on the side of caution, which is great for the athlete and great for the team because there is some pretty formidable depth in behind him, and it definitely goes ahead and makes for some interesting conversation as far as who might play behind him. A.J. Allen has had a terrific camp in that spot. You've had Jaden Dahlke playing on the linebacking core as well. So, again, you look at the depth chart, there's a lot of options that are available to the coaching staff, and definitely no panic and definitely no need to push him to be able to get into the lineup sooner than when he's ready.
Charleston Hughes was on the show in hour number 1, and he said that on his TSN Top 50, Roland Mulligan Jr. should be number 1 because he plays special teams and is a demon on defense. Oliveira only plays offense. So Roland Mulligan Jr. is back there doing his thing. If you had to pick the top 2 in that TSN Top 50, would you put Mulligan ahead of Oliveira like Charleston did?
You do know where I'm going to be standing tomorrow, right? I want to be lit into the stadium, so of course I would. And you know what? The versatility and the athleticism and the year that Roland Mulligan Jr. put together last year, I do believe that he really, really, really should have been considered as the most outstanding player in the league. That said, he is a heck of an athlete. So too is Brady Oliveira. I don't want to take anything away from him, but again, knowing the stadium that I'm hoping to get into tomorrow, of course it's 0.
Well, just listen. If anybody's got a problem with that, we'll just give him Charleston's cell phone number. He loves to chat, which is great. Oh, and by the way, Dave, I'm not sure if you have a suitcase ready and it's already packed for late November for Winnipeg and the weather. But one Charleston Hughes, CFL legend, said it's going to be the Saskatchewan Roughriders taking on Bo Levi Mitchell and the Hamilton Ticats in the Grey Cup this year. You can take that to the bank. Put some money on that. Sir, we will let you continue on life's highway. Life is a highway, right, Tom Cochran? The 620 CKRM Cooperators Rider Broadcast Network kicks into high gear tomorrow with our pregame show starting at 4. The Rider Nation pregame show goes at 6, and Dave and Luke will have the call right here on 620 CKRM. Red Blacks and Riders kickoff goes at 7 o'clock. And speaking of those Red Blacks, just after the top of the hour, Matty Vowles, Matt Conisvita from TSN 1200 Ottawa will join us. He is part of the Red Blacks Radio Game Day crew. We're going to talk some Red Black football. They made some splashes in free agency. And if there's one team that people are picking in the East to be much improved and on the rise, it is those Red Blacks. And we'll dive into that. Hey, thanks for being a part of the show. As always, if you got something to say, you want to be part of what we're doing here, 306-936-6262, Prairie Land Rentals text line. It's time to take a break. This is the home of the Saskatchewan Roughriders, 620 CKRM.
So since that little ding on my car last week, I don't know where to take it.
I don't even know.
That's easy. Take it to Regina Motor Products.
Who said that?
I did. Down here, I'm Terry the Tire. Regina Motor Products Chevrolet Collision Center and SGI accredited auto body repair is a full-service collision and body shop that works on all makes and models. Just submit your claim to SGI and set an appointment to get your appraisal done. Easy.
I bet you're tired after saying all that.
South at Highway 1 and 6, Albert Street. RMPChevrolet.com.
Sask Lotteries has 50 years of winning behind us. And you know what that means? Lots of winning numbers. Numbers like over 1,200 organizations funded and 12,000 plus groups supported. $6 million given away annually in community grants. And the winningest number of all? $1.4 billion given back to the people of Saskatchewan through sport, culture, and recreation. And we're just getting started. Help us grow the next 50. Learn more at sasklotteries.ca.
You'll find a full array of used farmland equipment with Ritchie Brothers during their 2025 summer agricultural sales. With 39 farm auctions happening between June 9th and August 7th, there's something for everyone. These exciting and unique events are hosted entirely online, but their equipment inventory will always be available for inspection during an in-person visit. Make sure to register. You don't want to miss out on a wide variety of assets that include trucks, tractors, sprayers, combines, trailers, and so much more. Visit rbauction.com.
Another one bites the dust? What a weird saying. Are they swallowing the dust? And why is it so dusty in the first place? So many questions, but what I don't question is where I get my tires. When your vehicle needs the right tires, see your local Cooper tire dealer. Your local Cooper tire dealer carries Cooper Cobra Instinct tires. They bring your car to a shorter stop on wet roads and have decisive maneuvering and sporty performance. Dust yourself off and ask your local Cooper tire dealer about Cooper Cobra Instinct tires today.
Calling all skilled heavy-duty mechanics. Core Industrial Services has an exciting opportunity for you. They're hiring a full-time heavy-duty mechanic to join them at their 9,000-square-foot shop in Rocanville, Saskatchewan. As a heavy-duty mechanic, you're responsible for performing maintenance and repairs on a wide range of equipment, from heavy machinery to light trucks and more. At Core Industrial Services, they believe in the power of teamwork. Apply today on their website at coreindustrial.ca or call them at 306-745-4844. Core Industrial Services, where expertise meets opportunity. Apply now.
If you've got a Steelcraft garage door, you've got a door with parts manufactured and assembled right here in Canada. A door with better insulation and seal, plus a warranty you're probably never going to use. Combined with a LiftMaster opener, it's the right choice. And if you don't have a Steelcraft garage door, you should get one. And a LiftMaster opener. 100% made by Canadians for Canadians. Steady, tariff-free pricing and great quality, no matter what.
Steelcraft door, Steelcraft door, Steelcraft door. We offer more.
620 CKRM and Tri-Hall Self-Unloading Bale Movers present the CCA Pilot Butte Rodeo, June 13th to 15th. Fridays free, accepting donations for MS. Rodeo slack at 6, then Caitlin Crusaders Bronc match. Saturday, heavy horse pull at 9:30, parade at 10. Saturday and Sunday, chariots at 11, rodeo at 12:30, then chuck wagons. And Saturday, Bud Light Cabaret with Third Degree Burns and from Mexico, the Gecko Band.
This is Chavito from the Gecko Band. It's party time, guys.
Tickets at the Tab, Cross Country Foods in Belgoni, Pilot Butte Domo, and Ice House Liquor Store in White City.
Like family and neighbors helping you bring in the harvest. Like a reliable and trustworthy friend. When you need hail insurance you can count on, they are there. Municipal Hail Insurance. Offering 3 insurance options, including AMHI, your spot loss hail insurance sold at cost. Buy it as a standalone or stack it with your SMHI. Municipal Hail Insurance, Saskatchewan's crop hail insurance experts. See your local agent or visit your RM office.
It's time for the Sports Ticker, brought to you by Extreme Hockey and Sports. Whatever your sport is, Extreme Hockey has you covered.
Saskatchewan Roughrider home opener goes tomorrow night at Mosaic Stadium. Red Blacks are in town. Should be a nice night for football. About 23 by the time kickoff rolls around. Tonight at Curry Field, the Regina Red Sox will take on the Medicine Hat Mavericks. First pitch goes at 7. Jays Phillies here at about 5:07. Jays got crushed last night, 8-3. They were down 6-0 in the first inning. That's not good. And it's game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final. The Florida Panthers in Edmonton to take on the Oilers at Rogers Place. Faceoff goes at around 6:15 tonight. And that's your Sports Ticker.
The Country Music Rewind with Colin Lovequist.
We're going to step into our time machine and take you back to the year 1991 with music by the likes of Conway Twitty, Paul Overstreet, Mary Chapin Carpenter, Shenandoah, and so much more.
The Country Music Rewind with Colin Lovequist. Brought to you by Crawford's No Frills. Saturday afternoons at 4 and Sunday afternoons at 1 on Country's Greatest Hits, 620 CKRM.
The biggest and best collector car auction in Saskatchewan is back. It's the 6th annual Coast to Coast Collector Car Auction, June 28th at the Cali Curling Club in Regina. This one-day live auction event with online bidding brings the biggest bidders to Regina for the best selection of classic cars and trucks. There's still room to consign your vehicle to this auction. Last year we had 118 cars, and this year we want to sell yours. Go with the Saskatchewan company with worldwide exposure. Consign with us today at coasttocoastauctionssk.ca. That's coasttocoastauctionssk.ca.
Spring is here, and so are the sweet rides. The 16th annual Sukanen Museum Spring Fling Show and Shine is happening this Saturday, June 7th, 10 a.m. till 4 p.m. There will be concessions, prizes, and a whole lot of auto. Vehicles from 1980 and older are all welcome. Don't forget the Model Engineering Show also on site. All happening at Sukanen Ship Pioneer Museum, 13 kilometers south of Moose Jaw on Highway 2. For more info, call 306-693-7315.
You'll find a full array of used farmland equipment with Ritchie Brothers during their 2025 summer agricultural sales. With 39 farm auctions happening between June 9th and August 7th, there's something for everyone. These exciting and unique events are hosted entirely online, but their equipment inventory will always be available for inspection during an in-person visit. Make sure to register. You don't want to miss out on a wide variety of assets that include trucks, tractors, sprayers, combines, trailers, and so much more. Visit rbauction.com.
The Riders are back, and so is the Riders Foundation 50/50. Buy your 50/50 tickets early at riders5050.ca, and you'll be in for amazing early bird prizes. This week we have concert ticket packages to see Morgan Wallen in Edmonton and Oasis in Toronto. Not to mention, you'll be in for the biggest 50/50 jackpots in pro football. All proceeds support amateur football in Saskatchewan, equipping the heartland. Buy now at riders5050.ca, and go Riders! Riders 50/50 is presented by ISC.
Calling all skilled heavy-duty mechanics. Core Industrial Services has an exciting opportunity for you. They're hiring a full-time heavy-duty mechanic to join them at their 9,000-square-foot shop in Rocanville, Saskatchewan. As a heavy-duty mechanic, you're responsible for performing maintenance and repairs on a wide range of equipment, from heavy machinery to light trucks and more. At Core Industrial Services, they believe in the power of teamwork. Apply today on their website at coreindustrial.ca or call them at 306-745-4844. Core Industrial Services, where expertise meets opportunity. Apply now.
With summer on the horizon, you're gonna need somewhere to have family gatherings, fire up the barbecue, a place for the kids to play, get the dogs outside. There's nothing better than hanging out on the deck. Get decked out with the best deck around with the deck sale at Freeze Tallman. Get 15% off composite decking, only purchased through Freeze Tallman. Then sip, talk, and bake in the sun. That's what summers were made for. Visit freezetallman.com or see them in Regina or Fort Capel.
Freeze Tallman. Let's get you building.
So, since that little ding on my car last week, I don't know where to take it.
I don't even know.
That's easy. Take it to Regina Motor Products.
Who said that?
I did. Down here. I'm Terry the Tire. Regina Motor Products Chevrolet Collision Center and SGI accredited auto body repair is a full-service collision and body shop that works on all makes and models. Just submit your claim to SGI and set an appointment to get your appraisal done. Easy.
I bet you're tired after saying all that.
South at Highway 1 and 6, Albert Street. RMPChevrolet.com.
You don't want to move cows that don't want to be moved. Instead of trying to move the cows to the water, just install a Keln Solar Livestock Watering System. With a Keln Solar Livestock Watering System, you can put your pump pretty much anywhere without the cost of hooking up to the grid. Leave the cows where they are and move the water to the cows. Learn more about the Keln Solar Livestock Watering System at kelnsolar.com. Keln Solar, we move water.
The 620 CKRM Country Corner is brought to you by Glasses TV, your SaskTel authorized dealer, and Foster's Audio Video in Carlisle. Get the newest cell phone today with an amazing SaskTel rate plan.
620 CKRM and Tri-Hall Self-Unloading Bale Movers present the CCA Pilot Butte Rodeo, June 13th to 15th. Don't miss Caitlin's Crusaders Bronc Match, Parade, Chariots, Chuck Wagons, the Bud Light Cabaret, and more. Full details and where to get tickets on our events page at 620ckrm.com. And 620 CKRM and the Sportscage are proud to support the Synergy 8 Drive for Kids campaign, Thursday, August 28th at the Willows Golf and Country Club in Saskatoon. This year's special guest is Canadian pro golfer Corey Connors. More information at synergy8.ca.
For more information, visit 620ckrm.com. From the towers to the tractors, country's greatest hits. 620 CKRM, a Harvard media station.
It's 5 o'clock. Good evening. I'm Corey Atkinson from the SaskToday.ca newsroom with your 620 CKRM news for Echo Sound and Fort Capel. Stay connected with the new cell phone from Echo Sound. Call 306-332-6711. A Saskatchewan official says hot and dry weather continues to hamper the battle against raging wildfires in the province. Steve Roberts of the Saskatchewan Public Safety Agency says there's one thing that will help their efforts.
We need rain, and we need a lot of it.
Roberts says about 400 valuables, including homes and vehicles, have been lost to the fires. As wildfires continue to burn in Saskatchewan, thousands of people have had to leave their homes. The Canadian Red Cross is helping evacuees with shelter, supplies, and key information. The federal government will match all donations to the Red Cross for the next month, starting from May 30th. Saskatchewan is also giving $15 million to help. Leaders say they will continue to support those in need and thank everyone helping on the ground. If you would like to help out with the relief effort for these wildfires, all of us at Harvard Media are asking you to please make a donation to the Canadian Red Cross. You can find the link at 620ckrm.com. The Bank of Canada is maintaining its interest rate at 2.75% for a while longer. Adam Picallo with Ventum Financial noted the bank is keeping it the same due to uncertainty with the tariffs and how it will impact the Canadian economy.
But Tiff Macklem does say that there might be room for more interest rate cuts if the economy starts to weaken and price pressures remain under control. So that's something to kind of look forward to if something does happen.
Steady inflation and job numbers and the economy performing better than expected in the first quarter of this year were other factors influencing the central bank's decision. Prime Minister Mark Carney says he's taking a pause before he makes a decision on retaliating against U.S. President Donald Trump's latest trade war escalation. Trump's hiked his tariffs on steel and aluminum to a staggering 50%. Chamber of Commerce President Candice Lang says Trump's reckless tariff escalation doesn't make any sense and will strain supply chains in both countries.
We've said many times just the threat and uncertainty that tariffs bring does in fact affect all businesses. But now with this level of tariffs in our communities, we have to think of the horrible ripple effects when one industry might go down. How many other businesses in those communities rely on that business?
She says she supports targeted countermeasures, but she cautions Canada should make sure there aren't unintended consequences on businesses if Canada plans to retaliate. And Regina's Wascana Pool opens tomorrow, and the Slides Hot Tub and Leisure Pool will follow on Friday. Free summer swimming returns at Buffalo Meadows and Maple Leaf Pools starting on June 12th. From swim lessons to late-night swims, the city's pools offer something for everyone. Spray pads are also open daily. For schedules, updates, and fees, check out regina.ca/outdoor pools or visit the city's social media. That is your 620 CKRM News. Read more stories from around your community and around the province at sasktoday.ca and 620ckrm.com. Your weather is next.
Let's get out on the water. Now is the best time of year to buy a boat or pontoon at Kevin's Marine. Cast a line in a Lund fishing boat. Take the family out on a Four Winds boat. Or head out on a pontoon by Harris or Crest. Powered by Mercury Motors at the lowest prices of the year. There are manufacturer's rebates, dealer discounts, and low payment financing on a great selection of boats and pontoons. Plus Shoremaster aluminum docks and lifts. Kevin's Marine in Fort Capel. Enjoy your summer. Get out on the water. Stop by or shop online at kevinsmarine.com.
Way to go, Travis Kelce. I mean, son.
As fun as it is watching your 5-year-old run the wrong way or pick dandelions on the football field, what if I told you you could watch your favorite sports or shows on the go anywhere? Well, you can with MaxStream TV from Echo Sound, your SaskTel authorized dealer. Take MaxStream anywhere you go.
Oh, wrong way, buddy.
MaxStream and great internet plans available at Echo Sound, your SaskTel authorized dealer in Fort Capel, echosound.ca.
Your 620 CKRM weather forecast is brought to you by Line-X Regina, Serious Protection, Killer Looks, 1865 McCarra Street. And Croft Electric, 27 years of trusted, reliable home, farm, and commercial service for all your electrical needs. CroftElectric.com and on all socials. Now, here's your precision weather forecast.
The sky mainly clear tonight and most of tomorrow, too. Overnight low tonight, 6, and the high tomorrow, 21.
We'll watch in the afternoon for a risk of an isolated thunderstorm or two. Not a very strong system that we're watching for, but there is just a little bit of a disturbance cutting through. And as it does so, it brings in that chance of showers. Really, the main focus of showers tomorrow afternoon is going to be south of the border across into Manitoba. Just a little bit of sort of backlash from that system coming toward us. Mainly clear sky back in for Thursday night into Friday. A gusty wind will develop. Temperature at 26 during the day. The wind really during the day not too strong, but by day's end, and especially into the evening, that's when the winds really get going. Gusts upwards of 50 or 60 at times for Friday night into the pre-dawn hour Saturday. Then we settle the winds back down Saturday as well. Temperature cooling off a little bit too. 26 is our peak on Friday. We get down to 21 for both Saturday and Sunday. A few showers setting up for Saturday. Just isolated in nature, a couple of millimeters from those, and then partly sunny sky with a dry day on Sunday, the high again near 21.
With your 620 CKRM weather forecast, I'm Precision Weather meteorologist Phil Spivak.
When you want the best for your truck, you want Line-X. Your truck has withstood the harshest elements Saskatchewan has thrown at it. Rocks, gravel, rain, sleet, and snow, and left with no chips, no rust. Line-X protective coating keeps your truck's bed liners, rocker panels, and bumpers looking like brand new. Don't settle for Brand X. Go with Line-X. It's serious protection. Come see why everybody loves taking their truck to Line-X Regina for their rocker panels, bumpers, and more. Line-X. Make your truck complete. 1865 McCarra Street.
Croft Electric. You've probably heard of us because we've been around for over 27 years. We do commercial and residential work? Yes. We do permanent holiday lighting? Yes. We do cabins? Yes. And farms? Yes and yes. We're an authorized Generac generator dealer. We are a full-service electrical company with the experience and the people to service all of your electrical needs. We are Croft Electric. We will be here when you need us. Do it right, do it once. Follow us on all social and call 306-586-1333 to book.
Broadcasting from Century Studios in downtown Regina, Harvard Media presents The Sports Cage, where Saskatchewan comes to talk local sports. Brought to you by Regina Motor Products, proudly serving Saskatchewan for over 70 years. Visit rnpchevrolet.com today. Be part of the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262. The Sports Cage. Streaming at sportscage.com, our YouTube channel, and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
The Saskatchewan Roughrider Foundation 50/50 is back for another season. There's awesome early bird prizes to go along with every game. And you've got minutes left to get in on the Oasis experience. It's a trip for two with flights to Toronto, airport transfers, 2 nights at a downtown Toronto hotel, your Rogers Centre, and 2 tickets to see Oasis, the Live 25 tour. Liam and Noel Gallagher are back. They're playing 41 dates across the world, and you could be in Toronto in late August, or if you win, you can take $5,400 cash instead. You can buy your tickets online right now at riders5050.ca. It's Maz in for Barney today. Thanks for being part of the Sports Cage. As always, if you want to connect with the show, you can. Prairie Land Rentals text line 306-936-6262. With the Rider home opener tomorrow night, the Ottawa Red Blacks come to town. And they are a much improved team, making the playoffs last year. They won free agency, if you ask me, as far as getting the big wide receiver, although he's not a superstar, in Geno Lewis. So it's time to bring in on the Western Pizza guest hotline from TSN 1200 in Ottawa, Matt Conisvita. On Twitter, his handle is, and on social media, is Matty Vowels. One of the better Twitter handles I've seen ever. Matt, thanks for coming on. We appreciate it. And how does one come up with a Matty Vowels as a social handle?
Well, first, thanks for reaching out. Thanks for having me on. It's a pleasure to join you. And that was, so I grew up, I was always called like Matty K, Vita sometimes, but early on in my radio career, I was filling in, producing an FM morning show, and the host looked at my name and was like, I don't want to have to worry about pronouncing this when I thank you. You got a lot of vowels in there. I'm going to call you Matty Vowels. And I was like, oh, nice. That's unique, and it fits. My last name has more vowels than it has consonants. It's not a super common thing, and so I've stuck with it. And the other good thing is I don't have to be like Matty Vowels 23. There's the one and only.
I had to send out a bunch of invites for my mother-in-law's 75th birthday party. It was a surprise party that happened last Saturday, but we've been planning it for months. And I am sending random emails to random first name, one initial, then the year they were born, like everything, at a lot of Hotmail addresses, still some Yahoo address. I didn't even know Yahoo email was still a thing in Canada, but apparently it is. Hey, so I get it. Nobody's stealing Matty Vels. You're part of the Ottawa Redblacks radio crew. Now, last year, the Redblacks make the playoffs. And if there's one team that I think a lot of people kind of cheer for is Ottawa, to be better, to be good, to get better. They're always on the verge. Let's start with probably one of the nicest human beings in this country. He's the head coach of your football team, in Bobby Dice. They've got the right guy. We know him from here in Saskatchewan. In your opinion, what makes Bob so good?
I think a big part of what makes Bob so great is he doesn't have a lot of ego. And like, you look at bringing in Rick Campbell to be the special teams coordinator. He's a guy that was the day one coach here in Ottawa, coached Ottawa to a Grey Cup, and I thought did a pretty good job out in BC. When they moved on from him, Rick Campbell could have taken some time off, and Bob Dice was like, that's a guy, a coach. I'm not worried about him taking my job from me. What I'm worried about is winning football games. And I think that's a big part of what makes Bob Dice so great. The other thing is the players love him. And you talk to any player who's ever played for Bob Dice, and they would run through a wall for that guy. And I think that's something that gets thrown around a lot in sports. And at first, there were, I don't know if questions about Bob Dice's abilities as a head coach, but we certainly took a lot of calls on the post-game show of fans who didn't think he was able to make the decisions in crunch time. And he made some mistakes, but the other thing is he learns from his mistakes and doesn't really make the same mistake twice. So I think you put all that together, and it's a really good indicator of why Bob Dice is the right guy to lead this team.
Tomorrow night, the Saskatchewan Roughriders and the Ottawa Redblacks will kick off the CFL regular season at Mosaic Stadium. Matt Conisvita from TSN 1200 Ottawa is joining us on the Western Pizza Guest Hotline. It's year 2 of the Drew Brown era, Drew Brown experiment. What would you grade him in year 1? If we were going A through D, where do you fall on the Matt Brown or the Drew Brown?
I think I'd put him at a solid B. I think he started out the season really, really well. He suffered an injury, and Jeremiah Masoli came in when he sat out a game, and Masoli was great in the first quarter, great in the fourth quarter. There was a lot of not so great times in the middle of the game, but Masoli led the team to a win. It was his first game in a while. He's obviously, since coming over to Ottawa, had been just dealt brutal injury after brutal injury. And I think Drew Brown heard some footsteps there. And I think he rushed back, and he wasn't anywhere close to healthy. And his play really dropped off as a result. He couldn't plant. He was sailing passes or leaving them short, getting picked off. And it was tough for him for a stretch of games there where he's trying to play through. And he learned from it, and he spoke about it later in the season about how much it was a learning experience. And I think that he's absolutely poised for a big year, but it wasn't smooth sailing start to finish in year 1. Again, I thought he started terrifically, and he ended pretty strong once he was able to get healthy. And you just hope that, like his coach, he doesn't make the same mistake twice. If he gets banged up again, he's got to make sure that he's healthy when he comes back.
The talent's there, you can see it. And when he did get a chance to play for the Bombers, and it was very limited, you could see with a bunch of weapons around him and in a good system, you'd be like, okay, I can see what the Bombers see in this guy. And I was great. Yeah, he started great, but then it just seemed to not get on track. Free agency, I would say that you guys got the prized possession. Ed Hervey maybe didn't care that you guys got a Gino Lewis, and all of that went down. We actually had Gino on the Sportscage Barney, who's the host of the show, tracked him down one day. Looks like he was in his backyard somewhere, came on, and he just let her fly about that whole situation and how there was no calls, there was no anything. We'll get to that in a sec. When you saw that Gino Lewis was going to be an Ottawa Red Black, it's got to make a guy feel pretty good, right? That's a nice addition to the team.
Yeah, I mean, day to day, my job at the radio station, I produce the afternoon show. I do some on-site work at Ottawa Senators games. For years, I did on-site work behind the scenes in the visiting radio booths. So I've worked with Luke Mullender for years before moving behind the microphone. And I'm going to be honest with you, Maz, there wasn't a lot of times in my radio career where I was excited for CFL football in the off season. When I heard about Gino Lewis, it was okay. Like, is it May yet? Is it June yet? Let's go. It was only one piece in what I agree with you. I heard you earlier saying you thought the Ottawa Red Blacks won the off season. The job that Sean Burke has done the past couple of off seasons has been really impressive. And we can get into the secondary a little bit later if you want, but you talk about the areas of weakness for this team. I think were the running game. They started Braylon Addison, a receiver, at running back in the playoffs, and in the secondary, which got absolutely torched. And you look at the receiving core, and there's some good pieces, but they were missing just a little bit. I think Dominique Rhymes underwhelmed in his return to Ottawa last year, and the fact that they're able to go out and get Gino Lewis, and he should be able to really help them in the red zone as well, another area where this team has struggled. It was absolutely a grand slam signing, in my opinion. And I think that it was the first time that it's like, okay, we're in the offseason, but I cannot wait for the regular season to get here.
Has he been as advertised through camp and through preseason? Have you seen what good money can buy? Are you seeing what we've seen him make to be the top receiver in the league so far in a Red Blacks uniform?
I actually wasn't able to attend any of training camp. They were in Kingston, and so it was off site for us. But the interviews and talking to people who were around camp, absolutely. And we heard from him on our drive home show here in Ottawa this afternoon. And it's I caught him on the TSN preview with Kate Burness last night, and it's full value. And you talk to the other receivers in the room, and it's funny because you brought up Ed Hervey's comments, and he knows that he's one of the best players in the league, but he doesn't seem like your typical wide receiver, stereotypical diva who cry. He wants to do things that receivers need to do. And when you add him into a room with Justin Hardy, who I think it epitomizes that quiet superstar at the CFL level. Sorry, Ed. I think that Gino's only going to improve this team. That all you have Khalil Pimpleton, who just was spectacular when he was healthy last year. Braylon Addison, mentioned him at running back, but so versatile. I don't want to call it an embarrassment of riches, but when you look at the Ottawa receivers starting tomorrow, top to bottom, it's a pretty spectacular group.
We have Darian Durant on with us every Monday, and Darian talked about, and he loves Gino Lewis. He thought if the Riders could get a receiver like that, because not only does he pose a threat, it gives everybody else more room, because two people usually have to worry about that, which means somebody else is being left uncovered. Some of the other free agents, and we know them because they were part of Rider Nation, Peter Godber, who's not going to play tomorrow because of injury. You got Amari Henderson in the secondary, and a Darius Pickett, who I know, who came over from the Argos, and he was part of that championship team, but he got hurt. Do you feel that Red Black fans, because of that injury, haven't had a chance to see the best of a Darius Pickett?
I don't think so. I think they absolutely saw the best of him. And the season, there were two things that happened last year where the season sort of went off the rails for the Ottawa Red Blacks. One was Drew Brown's injury that he tried to play through. And the other was a Darius Pickett, and that ruptured Achilles on, I think it was the first play from scrimmage, a non-contact injury. And the secondary, Ottawa had been without their starting corners to start the year, and the secondary had struggled forever, and there were all these question marks, and it held up until Adarius Pickett got hurt. And I don't think it was a coincidence that special teams went in the hole a little bit when Pick went down as well. And I believe he was still top 15 in special teams tackles at the end of the season, despite missing so much of the year. So I think Red Blacks fans did see the best of Adarius Pickett, and it was hammered home by how sour things went after he got hurt. And man, oh man, is it impressive. Like less than 9 months ago, this guy ruptured his Achilles, and he's going to be ready for week 1. It's just such a testament to him. I can only imagine the work that he's grinded through to get back and to be able to go. And he's ready to get the party started. The party starter, his nickname. And he was DJing practices, and he was bombing around with his little scooter because he was in the cast, but he was still around last season, DJing practices and on the sidelines for the playoffs. So he's dialed in, and I think going to be really important for a new look secondary that includes Amari Henderson, who looked great in his preseason appearance.
Tomorrow night when the Riders take on the Red Blacks, the Riders are going to have a brand new left tackle, CFL rookie Peyton Collins. And the guy opposite him is Lorenzo Malden, who was a good player. And then there was one game where he kind of went off against the Riders and really established himself as Lorenzo Malden. And it seemed that, and I don't know if you saw it, ever since then, it's almost like his game got elevated and it's never come back down. It was like, he's a force to be reckoned with, and you have to game plan against him. And he's just, to me, been on a trajectory of, they found a really good football player that's turned into a really good CFL defensive end.
And he's got one of the best stories in football as well. TSN's Dave Naylor did a terrific piece on him and his journey in discovering football that is just the amount of foster homes he went through growing up, like it breaks your heart. And finding an outlet on the football field. And he talks about, being in a juvenile detention cell and just looking out this little window and deciding that that's not what he wanted his life to be. But you're bang on. He's so impactful. And when you look at the rest of the front four, and you have Bryce Carter on the other side, and he's a heck of a player. Mike Wakefield, Cleon Lang, and
there's Cleon Lang. There's a guy named Cleon Lang. You can't forget about him either.
It's just, and there's such, the team dynamic between them is that, like, Lorenzo Malden is as happy if anyone else on that line's getting home because he's getting double teamed. And the selflessness of these players on this team, if the secondary can gel, you look at the linebacking core with the return of Pickett, Jovan Santos Knox in the middle, and you got Frankie Griffin and Davion Taylor on the other side. Like this front seven is legit, and the continuity is there as well. If the secondary can do their part, we could see something pretty special on defense here in Ottawa.
Matt Conisvita is joining us from TSN 1200 in Ottawa. He's part of the Ottawa Red Blacks radio game day crew. So tell us tomorrow, because a lot around here, I mean, we went to the West Final. People are picking the Riders in the preseason to automatically be in the Grey Cup, just discounting what Winnipeg has done. What do we have to watch for tomorrow against this Ottawa team on offense and on defense? I picked that the Riders would win 23-16, and I think that Ottawa is better than maybe they show, and that there's more dog in the fight, or fight in the dog, than we're realizing. I think quietly Ottawa has built a really good football team, and it's just we don't get the exposure out here. In your mind, for Ottawa to win this game tomorrow, like, what's going to happen on each side of the ball for that to happen?
It's funny because one of my big question marks going into the game, and I don't even know if I want to bring it up with you, is the O-line, because I know how hammered you guys are on the O-line with injuries. But you mentioned Peter Godber. He's not good to go. And Ottawa's backup center, Eric Starsala, is dealing with a head injury. And so Jacob Ruby, who's I think played a little bit of center, but primarily tackle and guard, and at this stage of his career, a really good depth guy, but he's going to be starting at center. And so I know he got reps at practice, and that helps, but when you're down to a third string at center, it's a little scary. And so the first team didn't look great on offense in the first week of the preseason. They were supposed to play about a quarter. They played almost the first half because there wasn't much rhythm there. And so I'm with you. I think it's going to be a low scoring game. I think the defenses are going to be the stars tomorrow night. But man, if Ottawa can get a couple of explosive plays, and I'm excited to see a healthy Khalil Pimpleton from the drop. And like you talk about Geno Lewis, Justin Hardy, so reliable. But I think we're going to be in for a pretty close game and relatively low scoring, because I think it might take a week or two for the offense to find its rhythm.
You can't forget William Stanback running the football there. I mean, he's just good. Let's rewind to last season, when one of the most CFL-y finishes in CFL history happens. That crazy game, Ottawa Red Black. I think that cost us, I think maybe that cost us home field advantage in the West Final. The game ended, but then it didn't end, and then the command center got involved, and then there was fans on the field and the fighting. You had to be as angry as we were in Rider Nation about how that game ended up. I don't care who you wanted to win or lose. That was just an awful way for a football game to end.
It was embarrassing.
Yeah.
There were so many things for us to talk about on the post-game show, and it was just dominated by how do you let that happen? Like, players were in the locker room taking their gear off, and no, game's actually not over. Let's go back out. It was, but it's part of the quirkiness that we learned to love with the CFL. But there was Ottawa fans, I think, reasonably so when you look at the numbers, are not a fan of the CFL Command Center. We've had a lot of Command Center issues. There was one game, I think, against the Montreal Alouettes, where AJ Jakubek, the voice of the Red Blacks on TSN 1200, and his broadcast partner, Jeff Avery, was actually recovering from surgery. So Brad Sinopoli was in the booth with him. And there was a Command Center call that went against the Red Blacks. And there were some fans who were overserved, who thought the broadcast booth was the command center. And they're calling the end of the game and having to tell these, no, we're the radio. We're not the command center. I have audio of Brad Sinopoli yelling at these fans. But it was just, anytime you see a game end 3 times, not ideal. Not ideal.
I think for a lot of people here in Rider Nation, because Andy Fantuz runs the command center and he was at one time Saskatchewan Roughrider, a lot of us think, this guy included, Andy, cut us a break. You're a former rider. You know how important these wins are. Like, come on, man. Do you want everybody in the CFL on your side, or do you want Rider Nation on your side? Like, what's more important? But Andy's got to call it right down the middle. You'd mentioned the call-in show. You mentioned fans being overserved. And I'm not sure how colorful your call-in show is. It's one of the best parts of Canadian football. When we do our post-game show, some people maybe have had the odd one before dialing up. Or two. But this is almost where, because there is so much texting nowadays, that the brilliant caller volume, I think, sometimes diminishes because it's pretty easy to get your texts in. Sometimes, when you've got to, know what you're going to say, hopefully, and then actually get it out on the radio and not be like, can you turn your radio down? Can you turn your radio down? So to me, it's the beauty of it. I know. And you have to do that. Okay.
You've lived it.
Your Ottawa Senators make the playoffs. They push the Leafs to 6 games and all of that, and it goes away. Tonight's Stanley Cup final. We can wrap on this. Who do you think wins between the Oilers and the Panthers, and how long do you think it's going to take?
I picked the Oilers in 6. I wouldn't be shocked if they got it done in 5. They just feel like a team of destiny. And we know history has a tendency to repeat itself. And you look at Wayne Gretzky, his first Stanley Cup appearance in the Stanley Cup final against the New York Islanders. They lose, go back the next year against the same team, get it done. Sidney Crosby's first Stanley Cup final appearance against the Red Wings. They fall short, go back, rematch the next year, and get it done. And it just feels like it's almost too poetic. And I know Zach Hyman's really going to hurt the Oilers' chances, but the fact that it looks like Connor Brown's, like he said today, he's good to go tonight. It doesn't completely overcome it, but it softens the blow. I've been so impressed with the depth scoring for the Edmonton Oilers. They're so much more balanced. Yes, Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl are leading the way. But last year, Connor McDavid had 20 more points than anyone else in the playoffs. And I think he and Draisaitl are a point off, I think 27, 26. And they're just getting timely scoring. The goaltending scares me. But the Florida Panthers playing in a third consecutive Stanley Cup final, that's a lot of hockey. It's a lot of hockey.
Yeah.
I think the break helps them a little bit, but just feels like there's something special with this Edmonton group. And I picked the LA Kings to beat them in round one. I didn't believe. I thought losing the two players to offer sheets, they were going to be a little too thin, and they proved me wrong. And Stu Skinner is starting to write one of those storybook journeys where loses his job and then comes back in and has been full value. So I think the Oilers find a way, and I don't think the series goes as long as a lot of people are predicting.
I'm just excited to see your hometown hero, Brady Tkachuk, and how many beers he drinks throughout the game, because him and Walt are Taylor Swift. Plenty of crowd shots, so I'm going to go with Team Tkachuk on this one, just because nobody's given us a chance. Matt Conis-Vita from TSN 1200 in Ottawa, thank you for doing this. Good luck tomorrow night. Well, maybe not so much luck tomorrow night. Good luck at every other game of the regular season. Hopefully we can do this again throughout the year.
My
we
pleasure.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, my pleasure. Call me anytime. On the Western Pizza guest hotline tomorrow, it'll be the Ottawa Redblacks in town to take on the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Our game day coverage right here on 620 CKRM. The Cooperators Rider Broadcast Network has the pregame show starting tomorrow at 4. So you get an abbreviated Sportscage from 3 to 4 with Barney. The Rider Nation pregame show will go at 6, and Dave and Luke will have the call. Redblacks and Riders kickoff will go at 7 o'clock right here on the home of Rider football, Rider Nation, 620 CKRM.
Rider Nation lives on 620 CKRM. I'm Dave Thomas, voice of the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Tomorrow is game day as the Riders take on the Ottawa Redblacks. Countdown to kickoff with Justin Duncan, Tegan Whitco's at 4. The pregame show's at 6. And kickoff with Luke Mullender and Eyes at 7. Saskatchewan Roughrider football on the Cooperators Rider Broadcast Network is brought to you by the Cooperators, Saskatchewan Party Caucus, and Vaterstad. Stream every moment of Rider football at sportscage.com.
You'll find a full array of used farmland equipment with Ritchie Brothers during their 2025 summer agricultural sales. With 39 farm auctions happening between June 9th and August 7th, there's something for everyone. These exciting and unique events are hosted entirely online, but their equipment inventory will always be available for inspection during an in-person visit. Make sure to register. You don't want to miss out on a wide variety of assets that include trucks, tractors, sprayers, combines, trailers, and so much more. Visit rbauction.com.
She was looking for fun in the sun. He wanted 2 for 1. Called a sassy tour de force that will change the way you look. This summer's biggest eyewear blockbuster is the You Pick the Sale sale at Future Vision.
Ooh, how do I choose?
Will she get a great deal on prescription sunglasses? Will he find 2 fashion frames for 1 low price? You Pick the sale. Now playing at
Future Vision. Where'd you get those eyes?
A proud recipient of the Consumer's Choice Award 2024.
It's the home opener, kickoff in the Heartland, as the Saskatchewan Roughriders face the Ottawa Redblacks June 5th at 7 p.m., presented by Sask Energy. The first Pepsi summer concert will feature Saskatchewan's own Braden King at halftime. And your home opener ticket includes free entry to the Mosaic Festival of Culture on game day. Coors Light Party in the Park will feature First Nation University teepee setup, music, autograph signings, and more. It's kickoff in the Heartland as the Riders welcome the Redblacks June 5th at 7 p.m.
Hi there, we're the Fox family.
Nice to meet you.
Hey.
Hello. Hi.
We have a great little den out back of your property. There's lots of room for the pups to roam and have fun, but it's no fun finding old filters and puddles of oil. I just want to let you know that in Saskatchewan, recycling is easier than making a waste pile out back. There are nearly 200 year-round collection points throughout the province. Make your waste reuseful. It's better for your family, my family, and for all our friends in the bush. Learn more at usedoilrecyclingsk.com.
How has AgDirect Hail become one of the largest and fastest growing crop hail insurance providers on the prairies? Is it our competitive rates, our superior customer service and professional claims handling? Or maybe it's our easy-to-use online application? I'm Bruce Lowe with AgDirect Hail Insurance, and I want to thank hard-working farm families for your support. Whatever your reason is for choosing AgDirect Hail, we appreciate your business. Please visit agdirecthail.com or call us toll-free.
Struggling to make ends meet? You're not alone. Many people are facing tough times and finding it hard to afford the essentials. I'm hearing from people experiencing this every day. My name is Jasmine Brown, a licensed insolvency trustee at BDO in Regina. I'm here to help you take control of your finances with a solution made just for you. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to book your free consultation and discover your debt-free future.
You'll find a full array of used farmland equipment with Ritchie Brothers during their 2025 summer agricultural sales. With 39 farm auctions happening between June 9th and August 7th, there's something for everyone. These exciting and unique events are hosted entirely online, but their equipment inventory will always be available for inspection during an in-person visit. Make sure to register. You don't want to miss out on a wide variety of assets that include trucks, tractors, sprayers, combines, trailers, and so much more. Visit rbauction.com.
Get it hot, get it fast, Western Pizza.
It's good to be home.
Mom, what's for dinner? Can we get pizza?
Before Mom even had a chance to get annoyed, she recognized the good idea one of her kids actually had.
Not bad. Not bad.
After a long day when you don't feel like cooking, think Western Pizza. Big on toppings, big on taste. Dine in or takeout. Order today.
And get it hot, get it fast, Western Pizza.
It's time for the Sports Ticker, brought to you by Steelcraft Doors Regina, made in Western Canada for Western Canadians.
Regina Red Sox are in action tonight. They're taking on the Medicine Hat Mavericks. First pitch goes 7 o'clock at Curry Field. The Toronto Blue Jays taking on the Philadelphia Phillies. No score yet. Second inning. And tonight's Game 1, Florida Panthers, Edmonton Oilers, Stanley Cup Final. Oilers with home ice advantage this time around. Third trip in a row to the finals for the Panthers. A lot of people saying that the Oilers are going to win this because it's McDavid's time. Face-off should be around 6:15-ish by the time they get through all the ceremony and stuff at Rogers Arena in Edmonton. Over the past couple days, they've been doing press. Everybody's been trotted out in front of the reporters. There's that one shot of all the cameras, microphones, and reporters around McDavid, and it just looks like a swarm, and obviously. But one of the interviews that I saw, because I was curious as well, like when you win a Stanley Cup, okay, check. For a lot of guys, okay, I'm good. Do you still have that drive? The want to, yeah, you come close. Well, I got mine. Yeah, the new. But, and then when I saw this, and listen to what Matthew Tkachuk says about being selfish about winning another one. Colson, if we have that.
Is that planned?
Well, Matthew, on that, do you need any more motivation than just that photo right there?
No, I just thought it was just put up, planned. But no, it's why we're here. Playing hockey in June for the third straight year, and a chance to be a part of history. And we've had, 2 kicks at it so far, and they've been very different summers. So we're hoping for the good one.
And on that, obviously, last year it's a lifelong dream. How different is it this year when you've already accomplished that, but now you're here to do it again?
It makes you greedier. I said at the beginning of the year, it was such an incredible, life-changing moment, and you just want to do it again. Losing in the final 2 years ago, what about that experience made you better
for last year, and how does that maybe change the Oilers as a opponent this year?
I just think, I don't really know if it changes them much or if it changes us much, but for them, like, it's not new. You know, like, this day is not new. Not everybody gets to see it, but during the finals, there's way more stuff going on other than just the game. So this seems like a way longer series than a normal series too, with like the days in between, and it's just it is very different. So long travel, just everything that goes into it. So we're 3 years into it, and they're 2 years in it. So nothing new for both teams.
How do you?
Greedy Colson, greedy. He wants to be greedy and get himself another Stanley Cup. And like last year we saw it. Is there a bigger, more public enemy number one figure than Matthew Tkachuk? Obviously started from his days when he was a Flame, and now it continues on as a Panther. And then last year at the parade, he said something about the weather. This is great, but Edmonton doesn't have a cup. You have to know the minute he takes the ice, well, it's probably going to be happening in warm-up, but when the game starts, the minute he hits the ice, that crowd that loves to chant is all over Matthew Tkachuk.
Oh, most likely. Like you said, he was hated because he was in Calgary, and now he's ruined their hopes and dreams a couple times. So they're not going to give him any mercy.
And you don't think that there's a better guy that wants to wear the black cowboy hat and play the villain again? Like, he's the perfect heel. Sorry, I know Big Al's not on the show today, but in wrestling, he's the perfect heel. Like, it's cheap heat with the crowd. Anything he does, but he can back it up too. Like, he is that good. And everybody says he's hurt. We don't know what's wrong. But a 75% Matthew Tkachuk is better than a no Matthew Tkachuk. So on the flip side, if he's their star or their most prominent player, this is Connor McDavid at press day the other day with what likely was probably at least 100 people around him when he had to answer his questions from the media.
Yeah, obviously just a little bit more comfortable, know what to expect. I said it after Game 5, it just feels less emotional. It's been less of a roller coaster, I would say. Just the whole thing feels more normal, which is a good thing. I mean, winning in the playoffs takes everything you got. Obviously, we're here in the last series. It takes even more. So, yeah, they can be draining physically and emotionally, but it's supposed to be. It's that way for both teams. Your question was, how do you get ready? Everyone takes care of themselves. Everybody is expected to be in this position. We've been preparing for this all year long, whether that's through practice or games or whatever it is. We're prepared to be here. That won't be an issue.
And maybe you've read somewhere online with what Amazon did last year with that documentary where they were following them. Are they shooting that again this year? Because I'm not a guy that's won any Emmy awards for my TV work, but I would say if last season ended with him in tears in the dressing room, you hope that you've got cameras on him for this year's run.
Yeah, like it's the sequel. We need to know what happens. Right? We need to see if it's a repeat or if it's the complete opposite. So, yeah.
After watching that, and I mentioned on the show, I became a bit more of a Connor McDavid fan because I'm like, wow, he's not a robot. He's a real human. Like, that sucks. Like, you felt bad for him. Like tears just streaming down his face. And as close as he could have been and then denied. So is this redemption? Find out. This Stan Bowman clip where he talks about going to meet McDavid in the summer, and all he mentioned was winning the Stanley Cup. Obviously, dude is laser focused.
Yeah, Stan, you watched some great players win their first cups in your years. You had Jonathan Toews, you had Patrick Kane. When you're a guy like Connor McDavid and you've lived 28 years for this moment, and then you get here last year and it doesn't work out, maybe you could just let us in on what do you think it means, and where does the Stanley Cup lie in Connor McDavid's kind of mission here?
Well, the first time I talked to Connor, I went to see him in the summer after I started, and all he talked about was, I just want to win the cup. That was it. We didn't talk about anything else. So his focus is, this is his singular focus. Like, he's accomplished everything he could accomplish individually in this sport. He continues to dazzle us, every game, every round, makes a difference. Incredibly motivated and driven to win. I can't think of, you run out of superlatives to talk about him as a player and describe what he does on the ice. I think the thing that's equally impressive is the way he is, driving our team with his determination. And, there's no one else you want to go to battle with than someone like that. He's our leader. Not only is he impressive with what he can do on the ice, but his focus in driving us. So you could see how bad he wanted it last year when it didn't go Edmonton's way in Game 7. And right now, he's on a mission. I think as much as you get excited when you win, I think, I've noticed it from even the first round, the second round, even in Dallas, he's still very focused on, we need 4 more wins.
That's Stan Bowman talking about Connor McDavid. There is a Saskatchewan connection to the Edmonton Oilers if they do end up winning the Cup, that it would be back here this summer, potentially twice, because of Glenn Gulletson being from Hudson Bay and Chris Knobloch being from Imperial. And I would say right now, Colson, if you have your little black book out, that should that happen, when that day is, we find out, we load ourselves up into that bench seat half ton we always keep threatening you young guys with, and me, you, Barney, we make a road trip there and be part of whatever parade. Can you imagine the hotel bar that day if the Stanley Cup ends up in Imperial? I know what it was like there in the 90s for random slow pitch tournaments. Incredible. About a half hour away from face-off Game 1, Oilers and Panthers. All right, time to take our final break on the show. When we come back, Saskatchewan Roughrider Jorgen Hughes will play his 150th game tomorrow night in the CFL. That's almost unheard of. Football careers aren't that long, but to play 150 games, he is like the old man Iron Man on this team and in this league. We'll catch up with him next. This is the home of local sports in Saskatchewan, 620 CKRM.
You'll find a full array of used farmland equipment with Ritchie Brothers during their 2025 summer agricultural sales. With 39 farm auctions happening between June 9th and August 7th, there's something for everyone. These exciting and unique events are hosted entirely online, but their equipment inventory will always be available for inspection during an in-person visit. Make sure to register. You don't want to miss out on a wide variety of assets that include trucks, tractors, sprayers, combines, trailers, and so much more. Visit rbauction.com.
Saskatchewan isn't just where we live and work. It's at the heart of who we are. At Nutrien, we're feeding the future by supporting farmers here at home and around the world. From the potash we produce to the farmers we serve, we are growing careers and building a future we're proud of. Join a team that's shaping the future of agriculture. Grow your career. Grow Saskatchewan. Apply today. Nutrien, from mine to farm to you. Nutrien.com/future.
Every acre, every seed, every plant. The Fendt Momentum Planter makes everything count. Hydraulic delta force from Precision Planting creates specific downforce for each of the 48 row units across the 60-foot toolbar, which controls compaction, allowing you to make a big impact without leaving one. Grow bold with the Fendt Momentum Planter from Nick Service in Emerald Park. nickservice.com.
Rider Pride lives on the Cooperators Rider Broadcast Network, 620 CKRM. I'm Dave Thomas, and tomorrow your Saskatchewan Roughriders take on the Ottawa Redblacks. Coverage starts at 4 p.m., kickoffs at 7. Tune in for the pregame show, all the play-by-play action and post-game analysis of the Riders versus the Redblacks on the Cooperators Rider Broadcast Network. Cheer on our Saskatchewan Roughriders, and if you can't make the game, be sure to tune in on 620 CKRM or stream us from the CKRM or Rider app.
Are you tossing and turning at night, unable to sleep because of mounting debt? Debt can feel overwhelming, but you don't have to face it alone. I'm Jasmine Brown, a licensed insolvency trustee at BDO here in Regina. I'm here to guide you every step of the way so you can find peace of mind and finally rest easy. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to book your free consultation and discover your debt-free future.
What the hail just happened? Might be some of the words you say after a hailstorm. But then you breathe and remember, you have Co-op Hail Insurance. They protect your revenue with hail insurance coverage at affordable rates. And no concerns should it come time to pay your claim after that hailstorm. And they pay your adjusted claim quickly. Co-op Hail, a trusted insurance partner providing industry-leading customer service. Contact your local Co-op Hail agent or for convenience and to save even more, use their online buy direct option at coophail.com.
Let there be light. Introducing Green Frog Canada.
Did someone say Green Frog?
Not that Green Frog. Green Frog Solar Systems. Great for communities, small towns, city parks, and bike trails. As you walk along the path, the light brightens, then dims as you walk away, saving energy and allows you to see further. Proven to work in Saskatchewan weather and dark sky compliant. Federal grant is available.
Turns out it is easy being green.
GreenFrogCanada.ca, a division of Metal Man. You think, we do.
Have you been out to the new Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram dealer? That's Southie Mainline Chrysler, the newest king of trucks, just 30 minutes north of Regina. They're the small town feel with bigger than city discounts where customers show up and leave feeling like family. With the selection of the entire Mainline Automotive Group, it will be tough for them not to find you your perfect vehicle at the best price in Saskatchewan. Southie Mainline, just 30 minutes from Regina. It's worth the drive every time. Guaranteed.
Text CKRM 306-936-6262. Powered by Prairie Land Rentals. From skid steers to tents to power tools, anything you need to rent for that spring or summer job is at Prairie Land Rentals. Deal with the owner. 600 Albert Street. This is Sportscage. Watch our live stream at sportscage.com and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
All right, we don't have a lot of time left. This is the final segment of the show. If you've missed anything today, you can always go catch it up on podcast, Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast. Thanks to Matty Vowles, Matt Conasvita, who's part of the Red Blacks radio game day crew from TSN 1200 in Ottawa, for coming on the show. But if you missed Charleston Hughes in hour one, go back and listen to that. If you're a CFL fan, there is a ton of knowledge in there. We covered stuff we've never covered before. He'll tell you why he thinks Roland Milligan Jr. should have been the number one player on that TSN Top 50 poll. And he'll also tell you who he thinks the Saskatchewan Roughriders are going to be playing in the Grey Cup this year. Charleston, he's always good. He was great today. Those podcasts are also sitting for you right there, neatly organized at sportscage.com, our website, where you can sign up for the daily Sportscage email. All the breaking news and headlines will show up in your inbox every afternoon. Just click right at the top of the page. It's Maz in for Barn. He's back in tomorrow. All right, we're going to wrap the show here. Dave Thomas had a chance to catch up with Jorgen Hughes, who is about to play his 150th CFL game tomorrow night when the Riders take on the Ottawa Red Blacks. Let's hear from Dave and the Iron Man, old man of this Saskatchewan Roughrider football team.
Jorgen, as you walked off the field, you looked at me and said, I'm helping the younger guys out. How is it that you're now an older guy? Does that make sense?
I don't know, but I blinked and it's been 10, 11 years, so it's flying by. But I just enjoy being out here and around football and helping the younger guys out in whatever way I can. It's we got a talented group, so they're just fun to be around.
Game number 150. Do you celebrate that? Do you mark it? Did you even know about it?
I definitely knew about it. It's funny because game 100 was also versus Ottawa, and here we are at 150 and versus Ottawa again. You know what? It's kind of one of those things I'll probably think more about after the fact. I just try and keep my mind focused on the main thing and football and just doing my job and not getting caught up in all that other stuff because, you got to stay focused first and foremost. And then after the game, maybe reflect a little bit more and after the season even more so. But, just try to stay focused in the zone.
What do you remember about game number 1?
Long time ago. I remember my very, very first game was preseason versus Edmonton in Fort McMurray. That was my first CFL game. And we played at a little stadium in Fort McMurray there. And, it was cool. It was exciting. Good to be around. We had some Obviously a lot of good dudes on the team then back in 2015. And obviously that season didn't go very well, but it's just crazy how quick the time's gone. It's the seasons always fly by, the off seasons fly by, and here we are 10 years later.
10 years later, how has the game changed?
My job hasn't changed a whole lot. It's pretty much, the rules changed when I first came into the league with the interior five and the long snapper having to block on punt. Before it was kind of just, spread, shield, and you'd snap and you'd run downfield right away. So I came in at a good time, and I had a couple of years of training down south to get ready for that. So actually the timing for me worked out pretty well. But aside from that, and the hash marks maybe moving a bit, it hasn't, for myself and my job, hasn't changed a whole lot.
When you look at the way that you got into this, you talk to some of your former coaches, and the one word that they always use, he's an athlete. That's why he can do it, because he's an athlete. How did long snapping become part of who you are and what you do?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. I think, I always played other positions growing up, and, in high school, when I first started playing football, I was in grade 9, and they stuck me at cornerback on defense, and then I moved into halfback, and then linebacker, and then middle linebacker, and I kind of stayed at linebacker for the rest of my, high school and junior career, and then, with the U of R Rams as well. And then I always played all 4 special teams, so I was always moving and running around and doing stuff, and I liked that aspect. And when I made the conversion to long snapping, I always said, I'm always going to train like I'm playing linebacker still, and like I'm a positional player, because I don't want to. I want to be an athlete. I want to be able to help and contribute, and you can run downfield and cover on punt, and just because you don't make the tackle doesn't mean you didn't help make the play. So there's definitely a lot of things that you can do there to help out. So I try and stay in as good a shape as I can.
Coach Majuri said that 96% of the time when you snap a football, the laces are where they need to be. Let alone the football, but the laces. How do you get that consistent?
Yeah, it takes a lot of practice. You got to throw the same ball every single time, and you got to have constants. So you got to, I got to start with the ball in the same place, and you got to have a really good holder who catches it in the same place every time. And then it's on me to throw the ball the same way and with the same spin, and when all those things check out, then the laces turn out pretty good. So, we're always striving and working on that, and different holders, they naturally catch it in different places. So that's part of the chemistry building when you work with somebody for the first time is okay, where do we got to line up and to get those laces where they need to be. So, but we got a great group, and Joe's been good at it, and the first day working with James, he's been good at it too. So, we're pretty fortunate here.
How much satisfaction do you take in a successful Brett Lothar field goal?
Yeah, lots. I mean, he's definitely carrying the load. I mean, all the pressure's on him, and he's got the toughest job. But quietly, I try and be unnoticed. And I've always said the biggest compliment you can get as a long snapper is, when people look at you, they keep looking, and they pass you by, and it means that they trust you to do your job, and you want to go unnoticed as much as possible. You don't want to be talked about too much. If you are, then sometimes it's not for good reasons. So that's kind of the brand. Stay unnoticed.
Jorgen, we'll hopefully notice you for maybe 150 more. Who knows? Thanks so much for doing this, and congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Anytime.
Rider Nation lives on 620 CKRM. I'm Dave Thomas, voice of the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Tomorrow is game day as the Riders take on the Ottawa Redblacks. Countdown to kickoff with Justin Duncan, Tegan Whitco's at 4. The pregame show's at 6. And kickoff with Luke Mullender and Eyes at 7. Saskatchewan Roughrider football on the Cooperators Rider Broadcast Network is brought to you by UFA, Croft Electric, and Stars Lottery. Stream every moment of Rider football at sportscage.com.
I'm Bruce Lowe with Ag Direct Hail Insurance. Back in 2014, we launched Ag Direct with the goal of changing the crop